haven't seen you in a minute. We need to go out for pizza.
Oh,
I'm a drop, folks, but I do appreciate you letting me up here. Carrie, always a pleasure. Thanks for bringing me up. You guys have a good
Nice to
evening.
meet you, Tim.
You too. You too. I'll certainly send you a follow, by the way.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
yeah,
Tim.
Tim, I'll connect.
All right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I'm already following. Yeah.
All right. Holla. I'm out.
Holla, I'm out. Come on over. Where am I coming over? Oh, come over to Tennessee. Don't tip me.
All right, so do we want to go back to the pickle alcohol content?
That was
Close.
terrible.
Terrible.
Survive. Hello, 2025. I'm just trying to figure my shit out here. Not necessarily Tim, you the man. Don't forget that. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't have anything going on. Forever C10. I'm just checking my equipment. Unless you guys got something you would specifically like to discuss. I was supposed to be 2 lives in 1 day. Hell yeah, Mr. Splaggerville. I don't know if this is going to be one of those. I was supposed to be out enjoying a comedy show tonight. That didn't happen. So I have nothing but an evening of absolutely nothing going on. So I figured I'd come in here and I don't know. We could probably talk about something, but I don't really have much going on. Let me turn that down. That is super duper bright. Okay, there we go. There we go. MAGA will be the comedy tonight. Oh, you're saying MAGA's going to be comedy? I don't know. MAGA's a bunch of nice people. MAGA are some nice folks. Where's my other device? I'm missing something. And without that something, where the hell did I deal with that? Hang on a second. Oh, it's in my pocket. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, I'm just looking at my streams here. Give me a second here. You guys can post questions. I'll read. Gangsta Grandma is okay. Gangsta Grandma is a unique individual. She is very passionate in her opinions and very vocal with them. And I'll tell you another thing. Gangsta Grandma does not like to be challenged. She don't take that very well. Gangsta Grandma like to be allowed to say what she wants to say. And you're kind of like Trump. She would not like hearing me say that. But Gangsta Grandma is similar to Trump. You know, Trump does not like to be challenged either. You know, Trump with the shut up piggy and all that. Gangsta Grandma talks like that. You know, you challenge her, you start getting insulted. I mean, very similar to media outlets that challenge President Trump. So I have to tell her that. I'm sure that won't go over very well. But I'm gonna tell her, you know, you got a lot in common with President Trump in regards to not liking to be challenged. But Gangsta Grandma is like that. She does not like to be challenged. What are we supposed to do with all the information that's going on right now? Give me an example of what sort of information you're talking about, because I'm clueless. Um, so yeah, give me an example. What do you mean by what are we supposed to do with all the information that's going on right now? I'm not aware of what sort of information you're alluding to. Trump and crackhead Gretty would be a great couple. No, they won't. They kill each other. No, they won't. They're like putting the fucking Oscar and an African cichlid in the same tank together. They would kill each other. I mean, you gotta have, you know, somebody like Gangsta Grandma or somebody like Trump. You gotta have a submissive person with them. You can't have somebody like Melania Trump ain't pushing back on shit. I think that's pretty safe to say. Anything Trump says goes. Melania Trump ain't pushing back on a damn thing. You know, he's just not the kind of guy that's going to tolerate any type of adversity at all. I mean, that's what his former lawyer Michael Cohen said. His former lawyer said that when it was questioned whether his cheating could cause him to lose Melania Trump, Michael Cohen said he said, "How long do you think I'm gonna be on the market?" In other words, I'm such a desired bachelor. I would be such a desired bachelor that if Melania leave me, I'll find somebody instantly. I mean, that's what Michael Cohen said. He said, it's like, you know, well, how long you think I'm gonna be on the market? So And he didn't even. He made it sound like he didn't even give a fuck. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether you believe that or not. But that's what his former lawyer Michael Cohen said. It's like, how long do you think I'm gonna be on the market? I'm good. Tim, you gotta be submissive. Yes, with Gangsta Grandma, and that's who's saying that, by the way. Yeah, with Gangsta Grandma, you're not gonna you're not gonna be in charge of shit. I already kind of know that with Gangsta Grandma. You kind of got to let her take the reins. I mean, look, you got women that are submissive and docile, and you got alpha women. She would be closer to the alpha type. My opinion, my opinion. In the comments, Tim, you are back in the action. Yes, we're just out here for a minute to holler at you folks. I'm wide open today, so we do not have a topic. So this is just a conversation live. So if it's in regards to politics or whatever, we can holler, we can chop it up. I'm just testing my devices and certainly open for stimulating conversation, if you will. I'll read a lot of comments today. Basically, Trump with his madness money going over to other governments besides United States citizens. People feel like Trump is lying, but we can't question him because we're not in front of him to ask. I don't even think you need to do all of that. I think you can come to the conclusion that Trump is lying by just simply comparing what he says on day one to what he says on day two. I mean, he's contradicting his own statements. So some of that stuff is pretty obvious. He's not being honest. There are certain things he says. Well, I didn't say that, and there's video footage of him saying exactly that. So I don't think you always need to be in front of him. You just as long as you got enough video footage of President Trump over time, there's a good chance you're going to catch him saying something that's not honest because he does. Look, he says some things that are pretty challenging, that are very challenging to say the least. Challenging to your level of intelligence is the way I'm gonna put it. Looking in the comments, yes, I'm back, Chris. Just coming in the chat for a minute. Not necessarily anything special. A good old fashioned backhand will give Gangsta Grandma some act right, and remind her of her place. Says Gen X. There you go, Gangsta Grandma. Perhaps when you talking shit, Gen X says pretty much giving you a backhanded, the back of the hand, if you know what I mean. Backhanded slap would make you realize that you're trying to get out of a woman's place and set you straight. Who is in the box here? Well, speaking of which, Gangsta Grandma, do you not know your place? According to Gen X.
That. And he'll be putting a body down fucking with me. I should. Let me tell you something. He's a fool for real. Especially a white cheat man put his hands on me.
What?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Since we got a live with no topic at all, I want to ask you something. Why do you make everything about race? Now you just said a white man put his hand. Why does his race got to come in play?
Because it is about race with these people, Tim. Why do you think they voted for him, Tim? Why do you think they voted for him? Do you really think it was about eggs and about grocery prices, Tim? It really wasn't. It really was about race. They don't like us, Tim, on some real shit. He even called you colored the other day. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? It's not about what you think. And you say I'm not submissive. I'm very submissive to the right person, but I will never submit to the white team man. And I wish a white team man would put his hands on me. I promise you. I promise you.
Can you see Gen X as a regular man? Do you have to see his skin color all the time, though?
I don't see him as a regular man. I see him as a racist piece of shit.
Okay, well, you just said he said color. Is it possible a person can use the term colored and not be racist when they're not in...
No. Because you know what that meant. People, Tim, that's why I say that you are a ratty raccoon. You feel what I'm saying? Because you allow this shit to go down. You let them do it. You say, oh, it's freedom of speech. Being racist is not freedom of speech. It's not. That's why I fight back. That's why I go off on them. See, you don't see me talking about our allies like that. You don't see me talking about other white tea people, normal white tea people. You don't see me talking like that. The maggots, the ones that are truly a racist, yeah, I go the ham off.
Actually, I disagree with you. Being racist, while a deplorable state of mind, It is free speech, though. It is protected free speech.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, Gen X, I'm not white.
Nobody
I'm
go.
not white.
Nobody
I'm
goes to.
Afro-Latina.
Nobody goes to jail for talking racist shit. It is covered by free
No, you
speech.
get put in body bags, you get the shit knocked out of you, you get street justice. And you know what though? Do you know how stupid people are? Like just because I'm light skinned, that doesn't mean I'm not black. My dad and mother is darker than Tim.
Putting your hands on somebody because of what they said, even if it's racially oriented, that is a crime, often a felony. So
okay, I got my. Let me tell you something. I got money. I got money to get my ass out. I don't mess with these white cheap people like that.
I mean, look, I'm just simply saying, free speech
Like
does.
what kind of people that I need somebody that because I'm not submissive. No, you know what it is, Tim? I don't back down. That doesn't mean I'm not submissive.
I have a heart.
Just don't back down. I have my what is it called? Masculinity.
I see.
Women, we have masculinity in certain situations.
I don't
does not
see
mean
you.
that we're not thin, though, Tim.
I don't see you as being submissive. That's my opinion. I have a hard time imagining you being a submissive woman.
I am very submissive to the right person.
Right.
You think I'm going to submit to just to anybody? No. Submissive? No.
I think you're one of the type who will say, I'll be submissive to the person that deserves it, which means you're judging that person. I got to do what you want before you submissive. Then you're not being submissive.
A good guy, Tim. A good guy. I'm not going to go and be submissive to a loser or to somebody I don't like. What are you talking about? You don't just submit just to anybody, Tim. You submit to the one person that you like. And you would know that person. What the hell?
I don't think.
Submit just to anybody.
I don't think you're submissive. I think you made.
I am very submissive.
I think you're failing to. I think you failed to realize what the word submissive means. You're not submissive.
I know what submissive is. Thank you. I had a husband I submitted to. Thank you.
By way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks see Gangsta Grandma as somebody that sounds like she's submissive? If you think she's submissive, say yes.
I'm masculine on TikTok. I'm not. This ain't real life shit, Tim.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I believe what you're saying on here plays a huge part into regards to how you are in real life.
No, it's how I talk on here. Yes, but I'm very hard. I'm hardcore on here, but I'm very submissive when I'm with somebody, Tim. Damn, dog. Like you just think what? I'm just like a stud McMuffin or something. I'm just straight hardcore on here. Gotta let the white man push me over, Tim. Damn, dog.
I think you're.
I'm trying to even be nice to somebody. I'm trying to be nice to your ugly ass. And what do you be doing? Yeah, Tim. You're just a fluffer. That's what it is.
Peach in the comments says that I want Gangsta Grandma to submit to me. You gonna submit to Daddy?
You're so stupid. Tim, we're just friends.
Exactly. Now you got me feeling like Biz Marquis, just a friend, huh? Now you got see. This is what I'm talking about. You can't even submit to Daddy. See, that's what I'm talking about. So I think that you're dominant. I don't think you're submissive.
I'm not. I'm very submissive.
How the hell?
I'm not even talking.
Oh my God.
I'm not even talking.
Oh my God. Yeah, that lets you know that folks are reporting because this conversation
they're reporting. That's really sad because I'm not even talking about nothing. I'm just having fun. But you know what, Tim? Let me tell you. At the end of the day, I am who I am. I'm good. I'm a good person. I'm not a racist or nothing. I do things for the white people. Only the ones that I know that are allies. Now, don't get me wrong. The maggots I cannot stand. That's why I talk shit to. But anybody else, I'm good people. Will I ever date a white man? No, because I'm pro-black.
Well,
here's
one that may give you a nice chuckle. This is coming from one of my viewers. Says, what do you get when you offer a liberal a penny for their thoughts? Change.
At least you get change back.
Change for a penny. You're getting change for a penny.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I had to think about that. I'm too damn high. But Tim, for real. Like, people are just like, you know what I mean? People are just like, Like, I don't know, Tim. You are just a fluffer. Why don't you just own it, Timmy?
I ain't
Why
fluffing.
don't you just own it, Timmy? Because when I get there, because I'll be there on Monday, but I have like a dinner date with my lawyer. So, like, I could go hang out with you on Tuesday. You know what, Tim? Are you going to be a fluffer with me? We're friends, though. Are you going to be a big old fluffer with me? If you know what I mean? Are you going to wear your MAGA hat? Do I have to choke you out?
How about if I don't bring the MAGA hat and I just bring the Trump was right about everything hat? How about that?
No, don't even bring
How
that.
about that?
Dog.
Trump was right about everything. Would that be better?
You know what, Maggot Reacts? Let me tell you something, Maggot Reacts. If you don't know the definition of black, and black comes in every damn shade, there is white. They look white as hell, and they have blonde hair, blue eyes, and they're African. You need to start getting educated, for real.
In the comments, someone in the comments, Fee One says you ain't never submitted to anything but donuts.
Donuts? I'm not a cop. Okay, I'm not a cop. I hate the police, for real.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
I don't like cops. I don't.
Really?
After they did that to my brother, I don't like cops. I don't. I believe that, we need to do something about the popos. We don't need to get rid of them because we have to have them, but we need to change their ways because unaliving innocent black men is not cool. So no, I do not like the popo. I don't. I don't. I don't give a damn what color they are. And if you rock blue like that, then you are you're the popo.
So you believe all cops are bad?
No, I don't believe all cops are bad because I have friends that are cops. I had a friend that are true cops, that are cops that they do want to try to make it better. But I don't trust police though. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I don't like the good ones, but the good ones need to turn the bad ones in.
Well, Dr. Mantis on YouTube said Gangsta Grandma is an undercover Fed, 100%. She's CIA. So you working for the feds?
They so bad. I'm a Fed.
Hey.
I'm a criminal. What the fuck? You think I'm a Fed? I'm a criminal.
It might work. I mean, you come across. You would be the perfect person because you come across as you're raging against the machine, but really you're working undercover. You working for the machine.
I don't like the feds neither. They the police. What the fuck? when I see a fed, I'm the other way. You never see a black woman run that fast. No, I don't fuck with the feds. Why would I fuck with the feds, dog?
Personal gain?
Hell no.
Might be some in it for you.
I don't work for the government. No, I keep my little black ass where I want to keep it in my dispensary and my restaurant. I make money. I go help the homeless and stuff, and I help black and brown folks. What the hell?
Right.
Me be a fat dog? You got me messed up.
I'll leave it at that. All right, well I got it. Let me go ahead and move it on. Go ahead, last word.
But Tim, I gotta tell you something, Tim.
Sure.
You know what though? You are right about politics and morals. You can't have them both though, Tim. You can't. You have to it's side by side. Morals and the politics. That's why I can never vote for the Republicans, even if it would work good for me, because I don't believe in hurting the poor people. I don't believe in hurting our vets and stuff. You know what I mean? That's why I vote blue. It's the morals and stuff. I would never vote red. I could give more benefits for voting red because they go and they don't give us they give us tax breaks and stuff for the upper classes and stuff. But me personally, I believe that you're not supposed to hurt everybody. You're supposed to give people hands up and help lift up people. And you know what I mean? Like give back and stuff. I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? I don't believe in that.
Some would say otherwise. I got to move it on. I'll tell you on the other side.
I got to go. Bye.
All right. But if you're terminating the life of the unborn, some would say that you don't have the moral high ground. If you're in favor of allowing a woman to terminate the life of the unborn, they're going to say, how can you claim to have the moral high ground when you're okay with taking the life of babies? In the comments, ask her about mouth circumference. Damn. Oh, my God. Thank you, brother. Keep up the fine work. Forever C10. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Kind of you to do so. Appreciate that. No politicians have morals. Um, I don't totally agree with that. Who said that in the comments? Mocha Leche almost sounds delicious. He said no politicians have morals. I think that your comment is probably more likely true when we're talking about majority of the politicians, but there are some politicians that do have morals. Some politicians have been assassinated because they were trying to implement things that were morally correct. I mean, like Martin Luther King was working with John F. Kennedy, for instance, a politician that was in favor of giving African American civil rights at a time when it was incredibly unpopular. Same thing with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln ended slavery, incredibly unpopular at the time. So there's some morals there for certain. And oddly enough, both JFK and Abraham Lincoln both were killed. So I mean, I won't say all the time, but you're probably closer to being accurate than not. Looking in the comments, tap the screen, get us on up to 10,000. We're just here talking shit tonight, no particular topic. So I'll just take some of you folks up and we'll josh it around. I was supposed to be at a comedy show tonight, so since I'm not, I figured I'd come in here and chop it up with you folks tonight. So it is what it is. Is that who I think that is? Moo, the tuxedo cat is. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, man, it's the same.
Holy fecal matter. Good to hear from you. I ain't talked to you in a minute.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Shit, no, we're doing good. We don't even have a topic. I feel like I need to put on a suit and tie. We talking.
You know what's kind of funny?
Go ahead.
You were mentioning JFK and Martin Luther King. JFK was very against the occupation of the Palestinians, and for a while there, Martin Luther King was pretty in favor of Israel until he started, messing around with JFK. I'm just saying, I don't know if there's, a through line there. I'm just saying it's quite a coincidence.
Well, we are talking, 60 years? I mean, I don't know what the climate. I mean, Israel might have not. I mean, Israel under Netanyahu is a different type of Israel. I don't know what it was like back in those days. I mean, back in them days, Israel was still somewhat of, closer to the Holocaust and all that. They may have been viewed a lot more like genuine victims back then than they are now.
I wouldn't agree with that because the state of Israel was started by Zionists. It wasn't started by people in trouble. And people that were brought there were smuggled in by the Italian mob, the Polish mob, the United States mafia through Italy. So no, I don't subscribe to that narrative.
But even regardless of who started it, wasn't that the country that took in a whole lot of Holocaust survivors?
So they were smuggled in. First of all, they actually had movement restrictions on immigrants out of Germany after World War II. Most people were smuggled in out of Europe into Israel.
So what are you saying? You're saying Israel would not let Holocaust survivors in? They had to be smuggled in?
No, I'm telling you that Britain wouldn't let people move around. Britain was in charge of moving.
Yeah, but we're talking about Israel right now, though.
I'm telling you that Israel was formed by a bunch of Zionists, Britain and the United States, and Britain had movement restrictions on immigration out of Europe at that time. And what was going on is the Zionists and different mafia groups were smuggling people into Israel to fight the Arab groups that were already living there. And that's how Israel occupied there, because they got most of their weapons from the CIA, the Italian mafia, the Polish mafia. Well, and that's how they were able to fight the Arab groups that were already there.
Okay, so even back then, they were victims then. The Arab groups was not viewing them as having a right to exist.
The Arabs have been victims since Iran was like Persia. I mean, how far back do you want to go?
No, I'm just trying to make sense of it all. I'm admitting I'm ignorant on this. I want to get your take on it. But what I'm saying is, has that region ever been friendly to Israel at all?
So has Israel ever been friendly to that region would be a better question.
No, but let's answer mine and then we can tackle yours. I mean, so what are you saying? Israel wasn't friendly, so they hated them back?
No, they would not. They are not friendly to Israel because Israel is an imperialist nation that tries to take their resources and acquire their land. Why would I be friendly to a white colonialist imperialist nation?
Yeah. I don't, you know, and I'm not arguing with you because, like I said, I'm going to plead ignorance on this, but I've not seen the level of disdain towards Israel in this country. Now, the Muslim arena, different story, but in this country, Netanyahu, I believe, is taking that because even in his own country, Netanyahu's not very well liked, apparently.
So APAC was created in the 1950s. So
Okay.
you have several decades of brainwashing there, right? Telling you that Israel is our great friend and ally, that they're our best friend, and there's decades and decades of that being drilled into everyone's head. And then there's the lie, right? There's the lie that Israel is a sanctuary for Jewish refugees when really it's a sanctuary for white supremacy. And Zionism and colonialism and settlers.
Wait a minute.
That's
You're
what it's
saying
been the
that
whole time.
You're saying that Israel is a sanctuary for white supremacy?
Correct. Zionism is white supremacy. It's Jewish white supremacy.
They don't, but white supremacists don't even like the Jewish people, do they?
So you have different types of white supremacists, right? You have Christian Zionists, you have
Okay.
Jewish Zionists, you have Muslim supremacy, right? Sharia law. So it comes in all different flavors. You don't subscribe to one flavor, right?
It's complicated. I've never. I mean, all of the white supremacist groups I've ever heard of, none of them are Jewish friendly. You're the first to suggest that Israel is loaded with white supremacists that I've heard.
Well,
at
you
least.
do realize that the Zionists and the Nazis did work together during World War II. You do know that, right? Yeah, they absolutely did.
To accomplish
Yeah, correct.
to accomplish what?
So in the end, it's about white supremacy and who's closer to your end goal at the time, right? If I can use you to accomplish my goal and you're within proximity of me, right? Like, for instance, the white supremacists in this country often use the Hispanic people to their proximity, and they will use black people who want to be within their proximity as well. So that's not mutually exclusive to Germany. People within proximity of white supremacists, if they're useful to their goal, often get used by them until I don't need you anymore.
Yeah. Well, I certainly agree with you with the lighter skinned Hispanics in this country. I absolutely agree with that. But you're the first I've ever heard suggest that the Zionists were working with the Third Reich.
But do you know who Hassan Piker is? How am I the first you've ever heard? There's literally thousands upon thousands. Israel's the most hated country in the world. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm the only person you hear saying this right now?
You're saying that during the Holocaust, Jewish were working with the Nazis.
No, I'm saying the Zionists were. Jewish people are not Zionists. You can't conflate. So again, you can't conflate this, right? There are Christian white supremacists. There are Catholic white supremacists. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There are Jewish whites, but that's not all of them, right?
Okay.
That's not
Right.
everybody. It's a sect. It's
now I get where you're going
separate.
Yeah, now I get where you're going because generally when you hear people talking about Zionists, they're generally in this country they're referring to Jewish people. But I get where you're separated. Yeah.
I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. I'm European Jewish. So my grandparents left Germany to get away from the Nazis. Otherwise, if we would have made it through the Holocaust, right, we would probably be over in Israel.
Now, see in the comments, Gen X says Hassan Piker is a homosexual. So,
I mean, so his first place his mind goes is dick, right? So I'm not worried about it.
I'm just having a conversation. I won't even go into that. I mean, that's what he said. So I'll leave it at that. The guest is bullshit spreading propaganda. So in the comments, Piper is disagreeing with you. And so is Snowbird saying you're spreading misinformation. So, I mean, listen, we talk about this stuff a lot. Your opinion is somewhat different than what I've heard many folks suggest. So that's all I'm saying.
You can look up what I'm saying, right? And the mob got tied into this. The way the mob got tied into this during World War II is they were hired by our government to guard the ports against the Germans and the access of evil. They were in charge of the ports and the unions, the union guys that worked the ports there, the port workers. They were all part of the mob. The mob ran the unions back then. Okay, so the government, you can look up, look it up. It's an operation by the government. I would look up the name if I had my computer on. But the government hired the mafia to guard the ports against the access of evil. And that's how they first got tied into our government.
Yeah. Well, our government has done its share of sitting, so I'll leave it at that. I can't necessarily speak out against that. So, what do you think? Do you think we should leave Israel under the bus, or do you believe that we are genuinely helping? Go
Sure,
ahead.
the easiest way to take care of Israel is to simply pull our money out of there. Because America first, man, right? America first, dude. All right? All of our money should be here. Our money should not be in Israel. So if you just defund Israel, the rest will take care of itself.
That would likely mean the destruction of Israel, would it not?
So if you defund Israel, the rest will take care of itself.
And what does that look like, in your opinion?
So there should be no such thing as an ethno state, right? You shouldn't have a state fully based alone on your ethnicity, right? There is no state, and then you go to acquire other people's land based on your ethnicity, and if they don't match your criteria, you take their homes, you rape their children, and you murder them. Okay?
You believe?
So
You believe the Israelis are graping people?
Well, I don't need to believe that. It's absolutely true. That's reported by Israel itself.
I've heard the stories. I just have to ask. I mean,
Yeah.
well, listen, what about the notion that after what happened on October 7th, they're getting some get back? Because look, what happened here, you seen how we responded after September 11th. I mean, we wild overkill. We took the lives of probably 1 million people in the Middle East. Wild overkill, just like we're claiming that the Israelis are doing. So what about the notion that they're just upset, and you got to understand because we would do the same thing?
I mean, a lot of those weapons they had on October 7th were filtered to them through Saudi Arabia and funded by Bibi Netanyahu. And, you know, of course we know at this point that Bibi Netanyahu knew that attack was coming. And we also know that Bibi Netanyahu has propped up different leaders in Hamas throughout their time that they've been in charge of Palestine. And, you know, if you go
You believe Netanyahu knew about October 7th ahead of time and did nothing?
Well, we know he did. There's already reports that show he knew about October 7th ahead of time.
So what was the goal? To just let it happen so you'd have an excuse for revenge?
What? So have you ever heard of the Greater Israel Project?
No, tell me about it.
So the Greater Israel Project, JJ, the E-Man, the big E-Man that Donald Trump was friends with for all those years, had a big old picture of the Greater Israel Project as soon as you walked into his house on his jolly little island there. And he was actually a Mossad agent. The Greater Israel Project is the idea that Israel should acquire all of the neighboring countries in the Middle East, such as Lebanon.
Kind of like, I got to move it on before you hear the lights turn out in here, but you're kind of talking about like manifest destiny just in the Middle East.
Yeah, well, that's what it is, my friend. I mean, make no mistake. They're trying to build the Greater Israel Project. And I mean, why do you think at this point that Turkey signed that new peace agreement, right? Are you telling me that you don't know that one of Israel's biggest targets is Turkey?
Do you think they're going to adhere to that peace agreement, or will it be kind of?
Dude, look at them; they're out of control.
So will it be something like what Adolf did, which is he made a peace treaty with the Russians until he was ready to go after them? So to make a peace treaty with Turkey for now, so that you can kind of put them on the side, do what you got to do, and then get them later.
What I'm telling you is Turkey's skeptical. Because so, do you really think that the NATO agreement will hold if America acts? I'm sorry. Do you really? So what happens if Israel acts on Turkey? Do you really think that America will abide by NATO?
Especially under Trump. I don't think any member of NATO can depend on America to respond while Trump is in power.
Okay, so Turkey just made a deal with, Pakistan and I believe Saudi Arabia. They made their own NATO just recently. One for all. If one gets attacked, they all go against.
What are those countries again? Which countries?
It was Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan. They just made their own NATO. So if one gets attacked, they all attack the person that's attacking them, just like NATO. Okay, they just did it like this week. Okay, and the reason they're doing that is because, one, America's been shown to be a paper tiger, and all of our bases are gone over there, and they can't rely on us for protection. The other reason is because Israel.
You're going in and out. You got Mossad at your door? I can barely hear you.
No, I said the other reason is Israel, right? They need protection against Israel because, again, Israel's had their eyeballs on Turkey for a very, very long time.
But as long as America's backing it, Israel cannot do what they're doing without America backing it. I got to move it on. No move. Interesting insight. Good to have you on. I haven't talked to you in, about a year? More than that, probably. So good.
Oh yeah, man. Well, I took a little break, but I'll be back more often, man. It's good to see you, though. It's good to talk to you.
All right, I don't want to see you on the MSNBC with a 6-point mask on your face. Anyway, I gotta go. Thank you. You stay safe, man. Have a Jewish star mask on, getting carried out of a 747 under the cover of darkness. Tap the screen. Get us on up to 20,000. Strong insight. Strong insight. My last caller. I haven't heard as much of that from many viewers, but I have heard some. Bibi Netanyahu said Israel should decouple from U.S. money, says didn't count. It's one thing to say something, it's another thing to mean it. I think Netanyahu realizes how unpopular he's becoming in the United States. The left does not like his country in particular. Well, I would say him. I don't want to say the left doesn't like Israel entirely, but the Israel under Netanyahu is falling out of favor fast with folks on the left and the far right, by the way. Let's not make it sound like it's just them crazy liberals. The far right don't like him either. So it would make sense that he might say, look, let's decouple money from America, because a lot of people are pissed off that we can't have social programs in this country. We can't have entitlements and stuff, but we're giving them a ton of shit for free. So he may just be saying that to shake folks like that from his tail, but I don't think he wants to decouple money. Wrong or right, I don't think he does. I think he's done really well with the United States backing him, for the most part, shit, unrestricted. Anyway, looking in the comments, it's not our country, not our problem, says Leroy. I agree with you, but MAGA seems to be okay with it. MAGA was not a fan of continuing to provide military protection to NATO when they didn't pay their own defense budget. MAGA is not a fan of giving the Ukraine weapons or any of that shit. Obviously, USAID, which has nothing to do with the military. But MAGA's kind of quiet on Trump funding Israel. Some of the folks are saying some things, but the minute you say something, you're no longer MAGA. Because Tucker Carlson is real outspoken about this shit. Alex Jones and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're really outspoken about this. But MAGA just kicked them to the curb and moved on. So MAGA's okay with us funding Israel. You don't really see them. I mean, Trump could bring Netanyahu to a MAGA rally and they would cheer him on like he was, Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz. They would give him nothing but applause. So MAGA's okay with it. In the comments, Israel is our ally way before Trump. Israel's our ally way before Trump. True, but so was NATO. So was NATO. And look how you guys turned on NATO. I'm not a MAGA, I'm a Kamala supporter, says, well, Kamala's out, and I don't think she's coming back. Trump, the doofus, didn't know the difference. Yikes. We'll go back to the box. Can you get your boy up to 30,000? Tap the screen, and we'll make that happen. Vladimir, good evening, Vladimir. What's going on? What did he bring him up? No, it did not bring up Vladimir. I certainly want to hear from someone with the name of Vladimir. We'll go to Perverted Fox. Some interesting names on this. I don't know why I'm trying to bring folks up. When you say MAGA, who is that? Trump supporters. Folks who, and I'm going to, look, I understand the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and some of them folks are now separating what MAGA is from President Trump, because MAGA was supposedly make America great again, and Trump is focusing on all kinds of international issues. He's not focusing on really making America great. He's focusing on Venezuela and Cuba and Iran and all this other shit. But as far as I'm concerned, when I hear MAGA, on this program, it means Trump supporters. It means Trump supporters. The MAGA movement has not officially separated from Trump. I know Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene have been hanging together and talking about it, but that is in the works as far as I'm concerned. That is not official. The Kool-Aid drinkers, MAGA, says Billy Wap. Okay. Let me try it again. I've been trying to bring up guests and we're having trouble. Yo, Adrian, is that what that says? John 7:1, after this, Jesus traveled in Galilee. He did not want to travel in Judea because the Jews there were trying to kill him. Yeesh. Yo, Adrian, let's see if it brings him up. He focuses on making his pockets fat. Yeah, I don't like that part because this was one of the reasons why we were told we voted for President Trump. He's not taking a salary. He's already rich, so we know he's not on the take. He brought his own money. You know, we can trust Trump because he came with his own money. He unlike the other politicians, he's not here to make money. And once he got in there, he did just the opposite. He absolutely is making money. He absolutely is still concerned with running businesses and making money. So to me, from that standpoint, he absolutely would be a letdown to anybody who thought otherwise. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring up Yo Adrian, so I'll go on to the next caller. Snowbird says President Trump cannot be bought. Yeah, look, that's like me saying I'm not an African American at this point. It's pretty obvious he can be bought. Pretty fucking obvious. To me, the Qatar jet is probably the best example of that. Just the way he has become an ally to the Middle East, in my opinion, is a good example of he can be bought. He's really been critical of NATO member nations that are not doing anything for him. And he's become really big friends with Muslim nations. Most of those nations he have huge business deals with. He's making a lot of money off the Saudis, and I mentioned Qatar and these countries. So, it seemed, I got to push back on the notion that he can't be bought. He absolutely is not a president that's solely in there focusing on making the country great. He has enough money, so he's not really worried about his own. No, he's clearly deeply involved in profiting. Everything from shoes to Bibles to hats to think of all the things he's been selling since being president. Think of all of the products, watches, just all of the stuff he's been doing while being commander-in-chief. He absolutely is focused on money, and he don't need it, which is really bad. I mean, he has beyond generational wealth, and he's still in there just constantly making more money, and the average American is not really seeing it. You silly Americans are hilarious. Thank you for providing the rest of the world with daily comedy episodes. Captain Howdy, I would be curious to know where you're located at, because a lot of our comedy could end up being something that hurts your country. So I would love to know where you're located at to hear about this comedy. Looking in the comment section, I don't know. I couldn't bring up any callers, so I don't know what's going on with that, but we'll continue on. Fake phone. Yeah, the phones. Trump was selling the phones that they were able to take apart, those Trump phones, and they were able to find that these are the same. They were HTC phones from 2024. So he was selling phones that were 2 years old and just rebranding them as Trump phones. I think they show how you could take out one microprocessor, put in another one, so that the phone says Trump when it comes on. But other than that, it was an HTC phone. And they proved it by putting it in some kind of x-ray chamber so they could see inside the phone where all of the chips and all of the cameras and stuff were located. Once they determined which phone it was, they went and got an HTC phone, opened them both up, and they could take the microprocessor out of the HTC phone, plug it in the Trump phone, and when you turn the Trump phone and it said HTC, it worked perfectly. So all they did was just program the phone to say Trump when you turn it on. Other than that, wasn't no difference. You could literally take one part out, and they proved it by swapping the cameras. All of the parts came out and went right back in the other phone. So it was an HTC phone from 2 years ago, which means it was overpriced when Trump was selling it. And not necessarily the best tech either. It was 2 years old. Normally, the 2-year point is when your provider starts promoting you starts trying to get you to buy another phone. They're letting you know your phone's getting outdated. They normally start, like if you got an iPhone 17, it's a good chance your last iPhone was a 15. Or you got a Samsung 26, your last one was probably a 24. It's kind of around that time when they start telling you this is outdated, let's switch it. So Trump made good money off of them by selling them an old device at inflated prices. And he originally didn't even want to give it to them. At first, they were not going to get anything. And then when they gave it to him, they gave him old phones. Trump has his own gold teeth, but they're a little orange. I don't know what to do with that. We must leave NATO. Who's more socialist, Europe or Russia? I don't know why anybody thinks it would be smart to leave NATO, considering how much trouble we're having with Iran right now. There's no way in hell, considering how much trouble we're having with Iran, it's pretty clear that if we leave NATO, those nations as a whole defending each other would be stronger than the United States. The whole of NATO, all of those nations operating as one would probably be stronger than America, because they certainly have more money than Iran, certainly more technology and ingenuity than Iran. At least 2 or 3 of those countries have nukes. So if America leaves NATO, we would no longer be the most powerful nation on earth. Probably would be NATO. It would probably be NATO. That's why I keep telling folks who suggest that we don't need NATO, NATO needs us. NATO would actually be fine without America. And they would probably become stronger, because without America telling them what to do and things like that, or where they can buy weapons and who they can buy them from, they would be more innovative. But fact is, if America leaves NATO, just think about the NATO member nations collectively all acting as one. How many other nations on earth could beat that? Even if you want to suggest America could still beat NATO, China, let's say you want to say America, that's kind of it. So the idea that NATO would be this weak entity without the United States is crazy. There's not many nations on earth that could take on NATO, even if America's not in it. It still would be probably top 3, definitely top 5. They would be fine without the United States. I don't know why people seem to think they wouldn't. They would be fine without the United States. And by the way, because the United States is always involved in conflicts, it actually might be safer, because going along with the United States probably puts them in the path of danger and terrorism more often, because they follow us into a lot of domination and exploitation missions. If they separated from us, those groups would know that they ain't had nothing to do with it. So I don't know. I think NATO would do fine without America. But some of you folks have a difference of opinion. Intelligence and Americans can't be in the same sentence. Captain, there's no way we would become a superpower without any intelligence at all. America's quite intelligent. I don't agree with that. Look, we've done our wrongs, but the idea that we're not intelligent, there's no way I'm going to buy into that. We'll go to Furback. All those European countries would start fighting themselves as always. I don't see any evidence of that. Maybe in the future, who knows? I don't see any evidence of that now. Why would the European countries start fighting each other? That would make them weaker. I mean, California and Alabama don't agree on a damn thing. They're not fighting each other, though. I mean, I don't believe that they would all just start fighting each other automatically, because it is a divided we stand, united we stand, divided we fall. They've seen what happened after World War II. I don't think they would just do that. Furback, good evening.
What's up, Tim? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. We just yapping, chewing the rag. No particular topic, but we are talking politics. Do you agree with me that NATO would probably be just fine without the United States?
Yeah. I mean, isolation, it seems like that's what we've been headed toward since we got this man president again. It doesn't seem to be working, man. It's not going to work for us to be isolationists.
Yeah, I actually think, and by the way, Vladimir, put your request in. I don't know why you just came up now, because we tried to bring you up earlier, but Vladimir, put your request. I'll bring you up soon. I think that we would be worse if we left NATO. I think that their stance would probably improve and ours would go down.
I agree. You said it before with this man back in office, shredding up, agreements and just I mean, I guess they would look at it as like we need stability, and if we got to lose this unstable partner to get it, so be it.
So why do you think MAGA is so gung ho about why do you think they really think that NATO is the bad guy? What do you think is even causing that?
Well, I can use the C word until I'm blue in the face, you know what I mean? But they for whatever Trump's for, man, good, bad, or indifferent.
Oh, the C. It took me a minute to think what the C word. I mean, are you calling them cunts? But I get what you.
The other C word.
Yeah, I get it now. I get it now. The C word in reference to MAGA. I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
And like I said, man, at this point, you still dug in and gung ho for the guy, and you always put it back on me. You tell me that some of them were single issue voters. Okay, so be it. That single issue might cost you your house, might cost you a lot of shit, but so be it.
yeah, when I push back on the stance that I totally understand why some people voted for Trump. I think there's a lot of legitimate reasons to vote for Trump, but having the legitimate reasons that I believe people voted for Trump in 2024 are totally different for why people still support him now. Because I believe there was a legitimate reason to vote for Trump in 2024 because he promised a whole bunch of good shit that Kamala Harris was not doing. And he wasn't taking the country in the far left, open borders and all this stuff. But now that Trump's in office and not delivering on most of his campaign promises, it's a big difference between supporting Trump in 2024 and supporting him now. Because now I do have to ask, why are you still holding on? You've been listening to too many Simply Red records. You keep holding on. Now I don't understand it because Trump has not delivered on a lot of stuff.
And I mean, and the I get they like the brashness and the quote unquote he doesn't give a fuck. Okay, but in the realm of people, which some of you MAGA are, I mean, you know what he said the other day about the people on the boat? They're just that's not quite like that, and just brushed it the fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we played that.
Yeah, the same thing when we started this thing and we lost those troops. The same, callous, just they know what they signed up for from a guy
that never served. Yeah, from a guy that never. Yeah, and that part I definitely do not understand is that. For what he said about them talking about they haven't been at sea long enough, like, man, are you just trying to piss people off? Why would you pick that to say?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, man. Either he's playing this 20D chess or Pop's attic is gone. You know what I mean? There's no attic up here anymore. You know what I mean? It's one of the two. You know what I mean? It can't be both. So, he's sleeping on TV. They talk about Joe falling and this and that. Okay, that was kind of embarrassing. But I would like to say that, from a national standpoint, you're looking at the USA president just sleeping through his meetings. And then he going to come to us the next week and have a meeting. Either he doesn't respect the meeting or he doesn't respect us for both.
Yeah. Well, it was really crazy about that. You mentioned Biden falling off bikes and stuff. What's really crazy about that is I know from all of the Trump folks I've talked to, I'm quite certain that when Trump starts to deteriorate, I mean, more so than now, and the left starts laughing at it or joking about it or celebrating it, I know they are not going to want the left to act like they have been acting with the deaths of Mueller or Rob Rayner or the illness of Biden. They're going to be saying that shit is wrong. I know they are because I've talked to many of them. They are not going to like that. But they keep doing that as folks keep getting the old Trump. I mean, because now there's video of Trump saying that he didn't feel sorry when he heard Biden had cancer. Like, they are not going to like when that stuff starts coming back to Trump.
No, man, and that's when we say the C word, because it's like, at what point do you be like, that's a bridge too far, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just willing to walk off the fucking bridge right into the water, you know what I mean? They let's just go, coach, you know what I mean? And another thing, I mean, I get it, but if you want a leader, how can JD or Rubio or anybody else just dug in and attach themselves to Trump? How's that a leader? They're a bunch of peons. I mean, like I said, I'm not MAGA, so please, MAGA, let me know what in those guys that just got their nose up his ass screams leadership. I just don't understand.
Well, Marco Rubio, I still look at Marco out of the Trump administration as the smartest man in the room. Even though Marco Rubio is attached to Trump, as you say, he hasn't been out there adamantly defending Trump's controversial policies as much. He has done in some cases, but not as much as J.D. Vance. So I think, to me, I don't know what's going to happen in 2028. A lot of folks on the, my MAGA, so my beloved MAGA, a lot of them are waiting for J.D. Vance, but I actually think for them, Marco Rubio would be a better candidate. I mean, maybe he could patch up some of the loss with the Hispanic community. Maybe. That's a big maybe. But Vance, I don't see it.
And I kind of agree with you with Rubio. I do think he's one of the smartest ones there. That's why it's kind of confusing, other than using the C word. How much more of this shit, Rubio, you going to attach yourself to?
Well,
at some point, just like Harris, this shit's going to follow you into your next campaign. So at what point do you say, hey, okay, I need to get off this shit?
Well, it could happen after the midterms. I mean, Trump has only been president for about 1 3/4 of a year. So after the midterms, that might be the time when Marco Rubio decides to separate himself. Then he has 2 more years to even maybe, if he sees the writing on the wall, let's say the Democrats win in the midterms. And I'm not saying that because I really want them to, but I'm saying that because that's what the political analysts are saying, is that they're going to have a pretty good time in the midterms. So all of a sudden the Democrats do well in the midterms. And obviously, if that happens, particularly if they take the House and Senate, the writing is going to be on the wall for Trump, because he'll be a lame duck president. There'll be a host of investigations, maybe impeachments, whatever. That's the time for Rubio to separate from it and maybe even start throwing attacks, kind of like what Marjorie Taylor Greene has done. She wrote with Trump 90-some-odd% of the time, but now she's on the attack side of it. So then he would have 2 years to be separate, launch attacks, and maybe be in a better position. Maybe he could line up with Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of those folks on the right that are no longer Trump supporters.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, the hourglass is, the saying is dropping. So what are we going to do? And also, it may be a deal where he can't. I think when Trump gets a lot of these people, good, bad, fair, however you feel about it, he gets a lot of people to go in these, quote unquote, maybe not, down the line, normal things politicians do, that's kind of tinkering on illegal. And now you're part of it.
Well, ain't nobody gonna leave Trump before the midterms while he still has all the power. If you're gonna leave him, you want to leave him when he's weak, not when he's powerful and he can destroy you. So I mean, because that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene is damn near talking about. She was getting death threats, and somebody shows your boy some love. Thank you, Danny Dan. I haven't seen had no mustache in a while, so certainly thank you. But yeah, they're not gonna leave while he's still a significant threat. But leaving after the midterms, when he starts, because he'll lose a lot of popularity once the Democrats actually have power. Because I'm sure there's a ton of Republicans that are singing the praises of Trump that really don't like him. And if he starts to become weaker, those folks are going to start publicly jumping ship.
I agree. I mean, like I said, it's just a time where I'm like, I keep hearing these names, and I'm like, I'm not a Republican, so I probably ain't gonna vote that way. I don't line with a lot of shit they do. Could I be swayed? Of course, but nah, their whole platform just ain't what I'm aligned with at all. You know what I mean? So I may not be the voter to be speaking about this, but I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes. And if I'm looking at this administration and I'm not so in the C word with Trump, and I'm looking for some leadership to come out of this MAGA movement, I don't see it. I don't see who's going to grab the reins and be like, sit your old ass down, old man, and let us take this where it needs to go.
Well, no, ain't nobody going to force Trump to sit down. MAGA wouldn't have it. So if you do what you're suggesting, you're going to get millions of MAGA that are not going to. So, I mean, Trump controls MAGA still. At least, that's still at least probably 30% of the voting public. So Trump is he's still in power.
But you can't win with that 30%.
No, but you can't fight that either.
But I get that, and I told you a while ago when Marjorie left, I said, I think MAGA light, you know what I mean? There's people that's like for MAGA, but think this has gotten too heavy. MAGA light is like, give us someone that's something like that. And I think it's going to come from someone that's going to, almost like an MTG, that's going to be like, Nah, that dude's a rat. Call him on his shit.
Too many.
I think you're gonna get those independents he had. I think you're gonna get those Hispanics back you maybe lost.
No.
But just going full MAGA, you're just gonna keep that 30%.
I gotta say, after what we've seen at the hands of ICE, the Hispanic community is gone. To me, you know, Republicans black people used to vote Republican before the Martin Luther King era. After the Martin Luther King era, the black vote for Republicans just gone. And I do believe that after the Trump era, the Hispanic vote for Republicans, at least for the rest of my life, probably gone. Unless you get a crazy liberal in there that does something that really pisses them off. But abortion and LGBTQ stuff ain't gonna do it. Not the way ICE was treating them. So, and with Trump being at the helm of ICE and all of MAGA in the comments, this is what we voted for. Yay, yay, get them all out. The Republican vote, the Hispanics for Republicans, I think that's done probably for at least the rest of my life.
So how do they win, Tim? That's what I'm saying. So how do they win? I told you when this shit first started, he single-handedly just unalived the Republican Party.
Well, and to answer your question before I move it on, you know, it's like you got a club and you've had a bunch of gangbangers come in and shoot up the club, or you've had a mass shooting. How do we maintain the bar? You're going to have to change the name of it. Change the name, maybe start playing country music, quit playing hip hop. So you're gonna have to change what the party stands for, at least for the interim. But none of the people that were with that are going to have an easy time getting Hispanic votes. I really think that they've really set that back very, very far.
Well, you know how they talk about these DSA guys and all of that. I'm just telling you, Republicans, if you guys still exist, y'all going to need something like that to get your party back. I'm just saying, it's going to have to be something that far away from what the fuck Trump is doing for you guys to get any resemblance of your party back. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know who that is. But I know on this side looking in, it doesn't look like it's going to be anybody MAGA because you're just going to get the same old shit. Yeah.
And the Democrats have got to not snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. I mean, even though Trump, the Trump side of the aisle has really hurt the Hispanic vote, you could get some Democrats in there doing crazy shit that could give some of it back. So, you know, like getting rid of the Pentagon with some of the stuff the DSA is talking about, stuff like that can give some of it back.
I agree. You know, DSA doesn't really scare me. I think that's more of their radical shit. But without being DSA and in those meetings, yeah, there's a lot of fraud in our fucking defense.
Yeah.
And I mean,
yeah, but getting rid of the Pentagon.
Like I said, that's a bit extreme. But you know, we also getting rid of fucking food stamps for poor people that can't eat. So I'm just saying, you know, there's poison on both sides. But if I was going to lean into some poison, yeah, let's feed the fucking kids. Let's not have a president that's going to sue states because they want their fucking kids fed. Yeah. Come on, I'm going to lean into that.
You get no argument from me. Furback, I got to move it on. Thank you for swinging through this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Best show.
Anytime. Oh, appreciate that accolade. I heard that. Thank you, Furback. Some of you guys want to show your boy some love. Hat and Mustache TikTok cap 0 on the Hat and Mustache. Wow. Show your boy some love. In the comments, Trump is planning on rigging the elections, midterms, and the 2028, says Billy Wow. I don't know if, trying to see how I can say this. You're saying Trump is planning on rigging the elections, the midterms at 2028. How many of you guys believe that's true? Debo, thank you very much. By way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks believe that Trump is going to try to rig? Let's start with the midterms. Less than 100 days from now. Yes or no? How many of you folks think that Trump is going to try to rig the midterms? South KC says he's already trying, and Juice says yes. Wow. Johnny D. Price says yes with multiple explanations. Everybody's saying yes. I haven't seen anybody say no, except for MAGA Reacts. There we go. MAGA Reacts says no. I'll tell you, and somebody says to Save America Act is a poly tax. I already said, I agree with you, C Knowledge. I'm not being naive. I have to ask the question. Furback, appreciate the hat mustache. Thank you very much. Trump rigging the election would make Trump a rigger. Is that an R? Let me make sure I'm reading that right. Trump rigging, yeah, you said rigger. Okay, I want to make sure. Rigor with a hard ER. The party was for balanced budgets and small government, the opposite of what Trump is doing. Nice try. Yeah. I do not shy away from the claim that Trump is doing exactly the opposite of what he campaigned on. Other than aspects that address minorities. The border, the way he talked about it, his aspects, the way he views LGBTQ, DEI, the things he campaigned on in regards to how he's going to address minority causes, he is delivering on that stuff. He is delivering pretty strongly on the border. He's going after the LGBTQ, particularly trans, as much as possible. And we've seen all of the firings with DEI and some of that stuff, which, in my opinion, DEI translates to black people. So in those areas, he is delivering on his campaign promises. But stuff that would benefit the typical MAGA voter, folks who also may be farmers or live in rural white America, he ain't delivering on none of that stuff. None of that stuff is he delivering on. And as a result, the economic standards for the typical MAGA voter and farmer and people that are in rural white America, they're not benefiting much. Most of them they're not seeing any substantial economic improvements because he's not delivering on any of those campaign promises. However, should be noted, though, that many of them are still very happy with Trump because the way he's addressing the minority issues is really satisfying. So they're, short-term pain for long-term gain. Okay, maybe the economy's not good yet. Maybe gas prices are not lower yet. But I can turn on the TV and see ICE kicking out these Venezuelans or Haitians or firing DEI, or making sure that trans are not involved in anything that I don't want them. I mean, that's enough for some people. Even though they do need to be able to pay their rent and pay lower groceries and things like that. But as long as he's doing that, I can kind of put up with it. So I do believe there's some of that involved in it as well. In the comments, gold statues everywhere at a cost to the taxpayers. More hard workers I know are farmers, are progressive. Fuck the regressives. I haven't seen it that way. You think a large portion of U.S. farmers are progressives? They didn't vote liberal, did they? I don't know about that one. In the comments, they have a crackhead. Post your comment. Feed one. Post your comment with a super chat, and I'll believe it is an actual comment. I think you're just talking shit, so I won't even read it. Put it in the super chat, and then I'll believe you more. In the comments here, MAGA loves the Constitution. Really? Trump 2028 is about as anti-Constitution as you can get. MAGA loves the Constitution. Yeah, right. He wants to nationalize the election and put Republicans in control. MAGA don't like the Constitution. MAGA likes Trump. In the comments, what does that say here? Hey, stupid. Bill Clinton left office with a $3 billion surplus after George Bush messed it up. Yeah. Right. Yeah, Bill Clinton probably was the best for our economy. Better than any president we've had, at least in my lifetime. And I'm Gen X. Bill Clinton was probably the best president for the U.S. economy that we've ever had. The fact that you think Trump is clearing up the minority situation, wrong. He's making a good fight for supporting minority groups. You need to tell that to the minority groups. Everybody that suggests that Trump is, doing good things for minorities, he's done more for blacks than anybody since Abraham Lincoln, all this stuff. Everybody's saying that they're not minorities. Go and talk to the minorities. They know who's looking out for them, and none of them talking like that. None of them are. Very few. You may find a few black MAGA saying something like that, but outside of that, most minorities do not agree with what you just said. That you saying that Trump, the fact that you think Trump is clearing up the minority situation, wrong. He's making a good fight for supporting minority groups. I don't think he's clearing it up. I think, well, he's clearing up the situation, he said. And thank you, Monty Cola. Appreciate the hat mustache. Monty Cola, rather. Monty Cola, appreciate that. He's clearing up situations that he said were problematic. DEI, trans in schools and bathrooms and girls' sports. And then, of course, just open borders and all the issues that come along with immigrants. Whether we're talking about crime, they're taking our jobs, they're raising the cost of housing, you know, they're rapists and murderers. I'm not saying I agree with any of the claims, but what I'm saying is he is addressing that stuff, and that's the claims that he made. And thank you, Monacola, for the TikTok cap. Appreciate it. Capitalism and socialism, we need gone. We need free enterprise. I think we need rules. I think the only reason capitalism is falling out of favor is we have let the capitalists capitalize on too many innocent, hardworking people. It's gotten to the point where people who are working 60 hours a week can't get ahead. I know the right makes it sound like everybody wants free shit and handouts and they're too lazy to get off their ass. There are plenty of folks who are working 60 hours a week. They don't have health care or it's inadequate. They can barely afford housing. They're working every fucking day. It's not just a bunch of lazy people, which is kind of insulting to those people to suggest that, but it is what it is. But at this point, people are investigating socialism and some of these other isms because capitalism is not working for them. We're letting the capitalists just do too much, get away with too much for the average person. Let me go back to the box. I had Vladimir in here. I don't know what happened to him, so we'll move it on. And we'll go to Keith. I think this says Keith. What Republican president left office with a good economy? Ooh. What was it like after Reagan left office? I'd have to look into that. Reagan was known as a really good Republican president. So when you start talking about Republicans, my first thought is to go back to Reagan. Reagan was thought as really good. George H.W., the father, was thought as fairly bad because of the Iraq War and Hurricane Katrina and the budget, the economy. George W. was not viewed in good light. So I would say probably Reagan would be the best idea I would come up with. Let me try to bring up another guest. I don't know why I'm having trouble bringing people up. We'll try with, is that Maga X in there? Don't know what the fuck is going on. Bob, I worked on a farm a quarter of my life shift time. Okay, Jay Todd, good evening.
What's going on, man?
Not much at all. Good. We're just having an open conversation. What brings you on?
I don't know. The fact, right? Like, you're kind of a traitor to your race.
Talk to me. Okay, give me one good reason why you would say that. Let me get my notes out. You may educate me. What makes you suggest I'm a traitor to my race?
Okay, because you support this dumb shit.
Give me some examples of the dumb shit.
This Republican policy.
Have you watched me before in the past at all?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a Republican.
I used to follow you before.
Okay, give me a.
I unfollowed you as soon as you clipped left, man.
Wait. Which side of the aisle do you think I'm on?
I don't know. You're pushing this Trump bullshit.
Okay.
Like I don't.
Fair enough.
Can't even.
I'm just trying
I can't
to
even tell anymore.
Well, let's have a conversation. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. So, what Republican policy, aka bullshit? Give me one Republican policy you believe that I favor.
The ending of DEI.
You think I favor that?
You supported it.
Bullshit. I've never once, ever. I believe DEI. First of all, I believe in this country from the beginning of its inception, 1776. I make this comment all the time.
This country was started way before 1776.
Let's start. Okay, go back to the 1619 project. Go back to whenever the fuck you want. The point I'm making is
go back to 1580 when my people got over here.
Okay, go back to whenever you want. The point I'm making is since we officially
vaqueros and the original cowboys over here.
Okay, well let me actually get the point out. The point I'm making is if you go back to when we were founded as a nation, which is 1776, but whatever. The point I'm making is DEI is as American as apple pie. It's always been with us. And the point I'm saying is, look at, I don't care what town you go to in America. Go find out all of your town's mayors. Look at how many of them are white. Your town's fire chief, your town's police chief. You think that happened by coincidence? The point I'm making is simple. DEI's always been around. You just had to be white to get the preference. We've always picked people based on skin color. It only became an issue when it started working on behalf of minorities. But fact is, it didn't matter how educated or intelligent you were as a woman, as a Hispanic, as a black person, you were not going to get the job if you were competing against a white guy. That's how most of American history existed. Didn't earn it. Just simply being a white male gave you a leg up. So when folks say they're anti-DEI, I'm like, when did you start being that? Because the country's always been that way. You think we got 40 some odd presidents and only one of them is not a white guy by coincidence? That's DEI.
Is that your argument?
That is my argument. Yes, sir.
That's the anti argument over here.
That's the argument I have. That's the argument I have. You just assessed me incorrectly.
I didn't assess
yes, you did. You just said
that fucking MAGA hat behind you, buddy.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You saw the hat, you saw an African American, and you started making judgments from there. That's why I asked you, have you ever watched me before? Because you would have never said what you said.
I would have.
No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have.
You for a year, buddy.
No, you ain't been listening to think I favor DEI. For you to say that, you ain't been listening.
You don't favor DEI. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You just said you don't.
Okay.
You're arguing with the wrong cat, man. I'm telling you, buddy. Like you are arguing with the wrong dude.
No, I think you're arguing the wrong points. I mean, I got a whole fucking list of.
Why am I arguing the wrong points when you're the one that's?
Because
you don't even love yourself.
Okay, let's
don't even love yourself.
Okay, give me another one. Trade it to my own race. Give me another one.
What? I don't have to give you another one.
Then what are you on the program for? I asked you, what did you come up for? You said you're traded. I'm asking you, I want to talk about what you came up for. You said I'm a traitor to my race. Give me an example.
Talk about who do you vote for, man? Like literally, who do you vote for?
Kamala Harris.
Like in your state.
I voted for Kamala. I lean left. Period. I lean left.
In your state legislature.
I lean left. I don't have. How else I can? I lean left. Period.
So why you got the MAGA hat up there, man?
Because I believe MAGA has a.
Why you rage bait liberals?
This ain't no rage baiting. I believe MAGA has a damn right to speak. I have the hat there because my program being named the handsome liberal makes MAGA think he only wants liberals to talk. We don't do that. We let MAGA speak as well. You don't sound like you've been listening to me much at all the way you talk. You sound like you're new.
All right, man.
You wouldn't be saying this if you had been listening. You sound new.
All right.
All right. I'm moving on. Thank you for coming through.
Good night.
Tap the screen. Yeah. Look, if he was right, if he was educating me, I'd admit it. I don't mind conceding when I'm wrong. You heard Move the Tuxedo Cat up earlier, talking about the Zionist shit. I told him I plead ignorant. You may know more about this shit than I do. I certainly say that to my veterans, folks like that. What he was talking about was crazy. To me, he sounds like somebody that is new to the program. That's all I was saying. There's a reason a Democrat won after Reagan. That's not true, Dencal. After Reagan, George H.W. Bush became president. Clinton won in 92. Reagan left in 88. 88 to 92 is George H.W. Looking in the comments, he sounded like a racist Democrat. Ooh, I'll leave that alone. Tap the screen, get the likes on up. We'll move on to the next caller. And that we'll go with Mike. Is that Mike H? Good evening, Mike. Welcome to the program. My bad. Okay, all right, didn't care. It happens. By interviewing minority candidates, more minorities were hired because qualified minorities always existed but were discriminated against. You know, I'll just say this. In regards to the whole DEI argument, I would be more willing to see things the way the right suggests if they were providing evidence. You're firing all these people that are allegedly DEI. Show me somebody who clearly got the job. They're black, they're gay, they're a woman, they're Hispanic, and you can prove this person never should have got hired. Show me a black version of Hegseth. Show me a Hispanic version of JFK. Then I would agree. But just simply firing people and alleging that they're DEI without actually showing any evidence of it, and you're firing hundreds of people like that, it almost looks like they're just being targeted. I mean, if they're all getting hired solely because of skin color or sexuality, you should absolutely be able to easily show that. Look at this person's resume. How the hell are they an engineer? How the hell is this person, at this level? Here's their resume. Show us. It would make it easier to believe, but they're not doing that. They're just firing people and telling you they're DEI. And then of course I use Hegseth and RFK to counter it with, if you want people to actually earn their jobs and be qualified, how did they get their jobs? If Hegseth qualifies as somebody that can lead the military, I'm sure just about all of the folks that got fired from the federal government through, what the hell was his name? Elon Musk. I'm sure all of them probably were at least as qualified to do their job as Hegseth. Hegseth is a fairly low-ranking military person to get that job. There's a whole lot of ranks above where Hegseth last was in, and he got the job as head of the military. So I don't know how you can be firing all these people from the federal government, saying they're not qualified, and then hiring Hegseth. That just doesn't seem to add up to me. Tap the screen. Pete is the most qualified for the job. Yeah, you obviously don't know what qualifications mean. Maga reacts, do you agree with that Pete Hegseth is the most qualified?
Not the most qualified, but he is qualified.
So what about the notion of what I said? If you're going to fire a bunch of DEI people, why not show that they were DEI?
I told you, I don't think they were DEI. I think they wanted to use DEI to hire people. They were pro-DEI.
You think everybody that Elon Musk fired, they fired them because they wanted to? I mean, some of these people were not even in positions where they could hire anybody.
No, that's a different argument. I thought you were talking about the military people that got fired. The ones that Elon fired are just ones with useless jobs.
So what do you? You
remember he sent out that email asking what everybody did?
Yeah.
And I guess a few of them either didn't answer or fucking their jobs were useless and they fired them.
Yeah. My guess is some of them folks are going to probably end up getting repayment in the future. Happened after the Trump administration.
With a slush fund like the one Trump tried to get, you think the next Democrat president, he's going to get that slush fund that Trump was denied?
Well, I don't think
you say that a lot, and when the J6ers tried to get paid, fucking Trump got denied and he never got the money.
No, because I don't think it's a slush fund. But I don't view. Let's say you get a liberal in office, and all of a sudden, folks feel that they got a better chance, so they start suing the federal government, saying that Elon Musk wrongfully fired them. I don't believe any settlement they get is a slush fund, because I don't think the president is going to become president promising to give them money. Trump made it clear, if I become president, I got y'all back. I don't believe that any Democrat's going to campaign on looking out for all the federal workers with money and shit once he gets in office.
But it's the same concept. These people were wronged, whether the ones that were fired or the ones from J6. And Trump was trying to make them right, and he got blocked. So the next person
It's gonna same thing's gonna happen.
No, because they got to take them to
They're probably
court.
gonna get blocked.
No, I don't think it's the same concept because the folks will they will actually sue the federal government for wrongful termination, and that goes through a court case. Trump just wanted to give people money. He didn't, because if the January 6ers had went through a court, they would have lost. Ain't no judge gonna say y'all deserve money when you're on video beating up people and shit like that. I don't think a liberal president is gonna just say give them money. They gotta go sue and win.
Nah, most of them didn't beat up anybody, and then all of them had to pay like
a lot of
tons
them
money
did, though,
just
man.
to stay out of jail.
The problem is a lot of them did commit crimes. For instance,
Honestly, I don't know what the breakdown is. I'd actually like to know the breakdown of how many actually fought someone and how many were just walking around.
Well, I think that the problem with the breakdown is
like how many were violent and how many were non-violent.
Bro,
Sorry.
and
It
see,
says something about them committing a crime.
Yeah,
like,
but see here,
how many were violent, how many were non-violent.
But here's the difference where you and I have a different breakdown. I personally believe the Capitol Police realized they were outnumbered and stood down. So they stood down and people walked by them. So you view the people walking by them as being nonviolent and just peacefully going in there. They didn't want them in there, but because they didn't fight it, it's almost like a big hokey man takes advantage of a woman and she don't fight back and she can't win. That don't mean he ain't doing something wrong because she just cooperated. I think that them folks knew they were not. You don't get to walk in the Capitol building and walk in everybody's office and shit like that unrestricted. You know you don't get to do that.
Yet when they stood down, not a single one of them got hurt.
Right. And if they hadn't, they would have got hurt.
Okay, but what's your argument here? Like none of them got hurt. Like you said earlier today, like if they would have caught Mike Pence, would they have hurt him? I mean, it doesn't look like it because they didn't hurt anybody else that they fucking caught in there.
They didn't encounter anybody. Who did they? They didn't encounter
these cops.
They didn't encounter anybody.
Beat them up, right?
What?
These cops supposedly beat them up, right? These cops were fighting with them and beat them up, right?
No, the cops got beat up.
No, it was two-way fighting. Cops got beat up and they beat them up. It was 50. They were fighting each other. It's not like a clear winner. It's not like they got stomped.
But it's a clear criminal.
Okay, whatever. Like, so these guys, the cops stand down, and these people that were getting beat up the entire morning didn't fucking touch them once they stand down. If you were getting beat up all morning, wouldn't you keep going and beat up the people who were beating you up?
No, because the Capitol Police were woefully outnumbered. So you're not going to be, which is why I don't know why you're saying Capitol protesters were beat up by the cops. I haven't seen any of that. I've only seen the cops getting their asses kicked. It was a fight,
Tim. It takes, when two people fight, they both get hurt.
But it ain't two people. It's like 100 on 1.
No, it was like, first of all, in the front of the line, there was only like 20 versus 20. And the cops had enough to hold them back. Even though there's 100 of them, it's kind of like 300. Where even though the Persians had millions of fucking soldiers, they could only fight 300 at a time because that's all the space fucking allowed.
I don't see
any situation.
I haven't seen any footage of a cop fighting with a protester where the cop wasn't woefully outnumbered and was. You making it sound like the cops were beating some of their asses. I haven't seen any MAGA protester getting their ass beat. I've only seen it the other way.
I've seen it where they're fighting each other. They're both fucking fighting. The fucking cops were better equipped. So you don't think those well-equipped cops didn't hurt a single? You don't think a single J6er got hurt in all that melee?
Yeah, you could win. If Rocky got hurt, that don't mean he didn't win the fights he was involved in. Yeah, they got hurt, but they were winning.
So the ones that got hurt, the J6ers that got hurt, they didn't touch the fucking cops once the cops stood down. They weren't mad. They didn't keep going after them.
Yeah,
they keep beating them up.
I see the comments. That dude said this is the dumbest thing I've heard. Let me just say it like this.
I mean, like,
hold on.
Name a single cop that was really like hurt during that melee. There was like maybe one. You're saying there was hundreds of J6ers and only 3 cops.
I don't understand what.
Only one of them.
I don't understand what point you're trying to make.
None of them were killed.
Yeah, I don't understand what point you're trying to make. Here's the point I'm making. You see people breaking windows and climbing walls. Even if you didn't do any of that, you see this in front of you. When you look, people were clearly climbing walls, taking down flags, taking the horses, the metal horses they use as barricades. They're fighting with police. So when after all of that, you're gonna walk in the building and say, "I ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm just walking in here." You know that fucking building just got conquered. It was obvious that happened. So even if you peacefully walked in, or the cops are just peacefully standing there not doing anything
So
to you.
hold on, Tim. You're saying there was what, thousands of J6ers, 1,500 that got charged?
That ain't what I'm saying.
You're saying all 1,500 of them fought with cops?
That ain't what I'm
all
saying.
1,500 of them.
That ain't what I'm saying.
Because how did 20 cops not die fighting 1,500?
Okay, if you know, hear me out before you come through with the interruption. The point I'm saying is when Trump said, let's go to the Capitol, but when you arrive to the Capitol building, you can see what is going on in front of you is illegal. Motherfuckers climbing walls, they're battling with police and everything. Just because you didn't get in the fight and you just walked in what is clearly a conquered institution at that point, you don't get to say I'm innocent. You just got there after your side took the place over with. You see what was happening when you walked up. They were kicking their ass. They were fighting with cops. You know this is not a peaceful invite. And you're going to just walk through all that and say, well, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just going in here to see the Capitol. You know this is not a tour at that point.
I don't know about all that. The
Really?
cops are there. They're walking people in. They're being chill. They're not fighting with them. They're not telling them that, oh, if you go in here, you're fucking committing a felony.
Okay.
And first of all, like, you're acting like all of them, all 1,500 of them were in the front line, and they were all there at the beginning. The fighting was only at the beginning. Once the cops stood down, there was no more fighting, and it was just people showing up and just seeing an open building and walking into it.
No, because no matter when you arrived, I'm sure you saw broken glass. I'm sure you saw things that are not normal throughout a regular tour. You know people are yelling shit they shouldn't be yelling. I mean, you know this ain't a regular
like a car
tour.
on fire? Because there wasn't any cars on fire. There wasn't, you know.
The point I'm making is the point I'm making is you know this is not a regular tour. You know what you're doing is not a sanctioned event. Just because the cops are standing, you know this is wrong.
Moving the fucking goalpost, by the way, because
How?
The goalpost was only the violent ones should be in fucking trouble, or only the violent ones. You know that.
I think anybody that went in the Capitol
shouldn't have pardoned the violent ones.
The point I'm making is, I think anybody
that
that went in that Capitol building, to me, unlike what you believe only folks that are being physically violent. To me, you don't see this building being conquered and broken into. You stepping over broken glass and shit. You know they ain't just handing out to. If you walked in over all of that, even if you didn't fight with nobody, you committed a crime to me.
Here's my question: if you showed up like an hour after the fighting, the Capitol's still open, and you could walk in there, would you walk in there?
No.
Not knowing what you know now, back then, without having the hindsight.
No.
Then you're a liar.
No, bullshit.
Not only would
I not walk in there because it would be obvious to me that this ain't normal. The other reason I would not walk in there. Hold on, you didn't hear the rest of what I said. You didn't hear the rest of what I said. The other reason I would not walk in there is because I hear people yelling shit that is criminal. I can tell these people are riled up by the shit they're yelling while they're walking around. No, I wouldn't go in there.
But they're not doing anything violent.
Yeah, okay.
Other than the first,
I'm not going in
once
there.
The cops stood down, they're just walking around. None of them are doing anything violent.
I'm not going
in there. Walking around and standing there.
It's trouble that I don't need. I'm not going in there. I can tell that at any moment this shit could pop off.
You're using hindsight.
I'm not going in there. In the comments, hold on, hang on a second.
Didn't know what was gonna happen.
Dencal says, I can't believe this jackass is defending people that beat cops. It does sound like you're doing that.
No, I'm talking about the non-violent ones. I mean, fuck, a lot of them were just showing up and taking pictures.
I'm not going
and being, like, internet journalists and shit. Some of them were legit internet journalists, and they have to spend $300,000 fucking fighting this shit by hiring lawyers.
The courts generally rejected the defense that police implicitly permitted the entry, noting that overwhelmingly force, broken windows, and breached barricades made it clear the entries were unlawful. That's what the courts decided in the cases.
Okay.
Basically what Tim just been telling you. I'm going to read it again. Breached barricades.
What about all
broken windows.
the BLM riots where they kept?
This ain't got nothing to do with that. This ain't got nothing to do with the BLM riots. If you
I've said this every time. That set the fucking example.
No, it did not.
Copying what you guys did all summer.
It did not.
Yes, it did.
How many of the BLM protests were violent by percentage?
By percentage, fuck you. There was 100 violent BLM riots. There was one violent J6 riot.
MAGA
there was
reacts.
100.
MAGA reacts. Can you please stop yelling? Just answer my question.
No, because that's a dumb question.
It's
that's
not.
a dumb question.
It's actually a factual question.
How many?
When it's only
a factual question. When the other sample size is only one, it's a bullshit fucking
MAGA
question.
Reacts. I literally asked you about. You brought a BLM, not me.
Yep.
What percentage of BLM protests were turned violent? That's all I asked you. If you don't know, say you don't know.
All the major ones turned violent.
That
all the major
wrong.
ones in major cities.
You're wrong.
Name a city. Name a city.
You're wrong.
Name a city.
You're wrong.
Let's see. Dallas turned violent.
I know it didn't. And I'm
Washington turned violent. Miami turned violent.
What is your definition of violent?
DC turned violent.
Okay, how many?
The church across from the fucking White House was set on fire.
Hold on.
The one in DC was violent. Cars were set on fire in DC and shit like that.
Hold on, Mike. Before you respond to this question, let me just say this. Even MAGA reacts, I think you're wrong, but let's say even if you're right. If you're in jail, if you're being arrested for any crime, pointing to somebody else committing the same crime and getting away with it is no excuse. So bringing up BLM, getting away with a riot and some other. Let me finish. It does not matter. What I'm saying is, you're not going to be in court and try to snitch on somebody else getting away with something and say, well, because they got away with it, so should I. That's the argument you're making. You let BLM get away with it, so we should be able to.
Public knowledge.
It doesn't matter.
This was public knowledge.
It does. So
what do you mean?
So
one group is allowed to do something.
So you're saying anybody should be able to do what O.J. Simpson did because he got away with it?
That was a more specific situation.
It doesn't.
We're talking about public.
Have you ever seen anyone let go of a crime they was charged with because they can show somebody else did it and they didn't get charged? Have you seen that happen to anybody?
That's actually a very good defense. That's usually very good defense.
No, it's not.
Selective prosecution.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
The prosecutor is very selective.
So MAGA,
you could use it as a defense.
MAGA reacts. Do you know how many protests that there were? Different locations. Do you know?
You don't know any of that.
I don't know. I just know all the major cities had fires and I sent Tim proof of this.
But they didn't. Let me explain it to you.
Name a city and I'll show you a video.
Let me finish. MAGA, don't do this to yourself. You're just gonna end up looking dumb, I'm just.
Name a major city. Name a major city.
Can you just listen for a second? There were over 2,000 protests. 2,000. Over 15 to 26 million people. Over 93% of those protests were peaceful. Over 93%. Now, before you answer, I know you don't want to take.
So, how many weren't peaceful? How many protests were not peaceful?
MAGA, let me finish.
93% of 2,000. That means 7% weren't. So we're talking about what? At least 14 of them weren't peaceful versus one J6 riot that wasn't peaceful.
Can I finish? Yeah. So
I'm just giving you your math back in your face.
I know, but because you don't let people finish speaking, this is where you look like.
I let you speak, and when I
you're interrupting. You're interrupting the hell out of them, MAGA. You are interrupting.
Of those protests, MAGA, do you know how many of those had agitators from the right that weren't peaceful?
Can I answer now?
Do you know? I'm just asking. Do you know?
I don't care about protests. Agitators on J6 and agitators in the BLM riots.
So Boogaloo Boys, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers have been identified as being agitators being present in Minnesota, Michigan, California, Texas. Matter of fact, if you Google what I just said, you'll see where multiples have been convicted for pew-pewing in the police station in Minnesota, for setting one building on fire in Michigan, and they unalived a federal agent here in California. And they all were driving going, Black Lives Matter.
All right, I'm sure J6ers say the same exact thing. Like, what the fuck? You don't believe them, but you believe this
Wait a minute.
shit?
Wait a minute. Well, they were all convicted.
Here's what. Hold on.
Exactly.
Listen to this, Mike. This is one that MAGA may agree with, but Mike, I'm sure. Listen to this comment coming from YouTube. Normalizing wrong thing says blacks destroyed this country. No one admits it. It just twists excuses. He said a 24-hour donut shop now closes at 9 p.m. after a random black shot and paralyzed a young worker. He got 13 years. So he's saying that black people have destroyed the country.
I know, and it's so funny. So, first of all, who owns everything? 90% of the wealth in this country is owned by white America. 90+% of all political positions are owned.
Michael, this isn't about race right now.
Bro, I didn't bring up race. Whoever Tim read the comments who brought up race. Right. So I'm addressing race. So hold your horses, guy. 90% of all positions in this country, from Congress and Senate to the presidency, 90% plus white people. So all of a sudden, you got all the money, all the power, all the control, but black people are the problem? Huh?
That's what they say.
I don't think black people are the problem. I think Democrats are the problem.
Well, I'm not responding to you. I'm responding to the dumb motherfucker that said it. Because this is why reading is fundamental. Everything I said was facts. I didn't bring up race. Y'all always say I bring up race. When I don't, somebody brings it up, I respond, and I'm the racist.
And MAGA, in regards to your comment that you think...
Wait, can I ask him a question?
Hold on. You can ask. Let me respond. Let me say something to you in regards to what you just said, and then you can ask Mike that question. In regards to you say you don't think it's blacks, you think it's Democrats. If that was true, right now you got nothing but Republicans in control. So in areas of this country where there's not a Democrat in sight, like I would say Idaho and some of these places, Montana, or better yet, Wyoming and shit, them countries should be doing phenomenal because there's no Democrat in sight. And a lot of the states where it's all Republican, the poverty is rampant. So I don't know how you see it only being Democrat when there's a lot of areas out there where it's all blood red and the poverty, the infant mortality rate, the education, the healthcare is terrible. So to me, it should be encompassing more than just Democrats. Go ahead and ask Mike your question.
I'm gonna answer yours and ask him. As far as your question or whatever bullshit you just said, basically there are small states that no matter who's in charge are gonna be fucking poor. That's why I always look at our best states like California and New York versus Texas and Florida. The best of the best, they can't use the fact that they're a small state or that they're not near the water or they don't have any.
Our smallest state,
Rhode
Island is our smallest state in the union, and it's doing better than most of those places. So why bringing up small?
Because it's a coast town. It's got water and tour. Like it's got.
So now you're moving the bar. So now it ain't about being small. Now it's about.
I just said it.
So Mississippi is not Mississippi and Alabama are not coastal towns. They're not near water.
I don't know enough about Mississippi.
You sure as fuck don't. Ask Mike the question.
Because they're small states. And as far as Mike's question, you haven't answered me. How many BLM riots were violent that had no Boogaloo Boys or whatever made up words you just used? How many of them?
Anywhere from 6 to 10.
So 6 to 10 were violent on their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus one J6.
Well, no. Hold on. Let me back up. The 6 to 10 would include Minnesota, Seattle, and
that
Michigan.
Don't have any agitators. We're talking about just BLM being violent on their own.
Based on the information we have, if I exclude the ones I just named for, out of 2,245.
I still think that number is bullshit.
So we'll go look it up then.
I mean, I've seen the looting. I didn't see any Boogaloo Boys looting during BLM riots.
Of course you didn't. You know why you didn't? Because they were dressed in all black, screaming BLM, and they were arrested and prosecuted for it. You don't know that?
So a bunch of black teens were Boogaloo Boys. Is that what you're saying?
They were white guys with masks and stuff on. Because here's the thing. Here's the problem you have. Are you suggesting that everyone that was protesting for BLM was black?
That's a good point.
No, the ones on the riot videos, a lot of them were black.
No, but I didn't say a lot of them. I said all of them. Because you said to me, are you suggesting that the Boogaloo Boys and Oath Keepers were black? So you would just be insinuating that the rioters
There's
were
more
black.
suggesting that they're BLM than there were Boogaloo Boys.
What color were the people that Rittenhouse?
How do you even identify?
What color were the people that Rittenhouse? What color?
Right. Everybody that Cal Rittenhouse killed was white. Everybody he killed was white.
Those were white liberals, though. They weren't white Boogaloo Boys.
White. But were they white?
They were white and violent and Democrats.
Okay, wait a minute.
And predators.
Democrats.
First of all, wait a minute. Hold on, time out. Did you just put predators on them? Do you have proof that they were?
Yeah. Yes, they have. The people that got shot had a history of
I'm
being
asking
predators.
the question. So you're saying that they were proven predators like Darth Vader 9 is in the comments?
Your favorite. Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes,
Are
they
you
were proven predators.
Are you sure about that? All three of them?
I don't know about three of them. At least one or two of them I remember had
What do you
the
mean
first
at least
guy
one
for
or two?
sure.
Wait a minute. You just said
Because
they were
I'm
predators.
like you, I don't have this shit memorized on a computer right on a file right in front of me.
You know the funny part about it, Magga? I don't even know that.
You do this 24/7. I only do this when Tim comes on.
I literally don't. I'm just smarter and better than you. I'm asking you.
Sure, buddy.
You said those
Every
three
time
were
I get
predators.
on here, you're on here fucking debating. I'm
you
only
know
on
what
here when Tim's on here.
You know what I'm going to do, right? You know I'm going to go look up those three victims. You know that, right?
I know the first one for sure was a predator. I want to say
You
one of the
said-
other two.
Well, that's not what you just said. You
Right. You
they
said
were
all of them.
predators. You said they were all
Yeah,
predators.
you said all
I
of
never
them.
said the word all. I said they were, which includes 1 to 3 of them. Like,
How many victims were there, Magga?
You said 1 to 3.
there were like 4, I think. 3
There
or
were
4.
3.
I don't remember.
Now you don't have a problem with pronouns. You said they. You said they. That would imply all 3, right?
Look, if you're gonna nitpick, if that's gonna be your entire argument
nitpicking.
that you're a better
You're not good at
nitpicker.
this. You're not good at this.
To
at
me,
all.
the minute you,
I know the main guy was a predator. I don't want to say one of the other 2 was a predator.
the moment you turn a January 6th conversation into BLM riots, you're nitpicking because the two ain't got nothing
But
to
they
do
go
with each
together.
other.
They happen at
No,
the same
they don't
time.
go together.
If I see someone get away with something all summer long, they get to do this all summer long, and then I find something that I want to protest, and I go protest it. Why wouldn't I think I could protest the same way you protested? Why do you get to protest
Well,
this
first
way?
of all,
and when I protest,
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to do what you
The
did?
answer is simple. There's a lot of BLM folks that got arrested for their crimes. You guys make it sound like no BLM
Well, that's
protesters.
because you had 2,000. Because you had 2,000 of them. We only had 1, Tim.
Well, then
If you want to play the ratio
maybe
number,
if you go by your numbers, then maybe that's why some of them got away with it then, because it was a lot more of them.
and when our one event or in our one riot, we had 1,500 people arrested. I doubt you guys had 1,500 people across all 2,000 of them.
Would you like to bet?
And no, I don't even know how to even begin to look that up.
Would you like to bet?
I'll bet you another $50. But we need some like hard data. not
What
some
is it? Wait,
bullshit
what is the terms of the bet? What is the
Sunday.
terms of the bet? What is the terms?
I want him to put him out.
MAGA?
So
What are the?
J6ers, we had 1,500 people arrested, right? You have to prove
again?
that it was in J6. 1,500 people got arrested in one event, right?
Okay, what's your point?
My point is, okay, so the bet is that you probably have a good chance to win this. That all the people that got arrested, all of the BLM riots, don't even make up 1,500. That's too many riots.
What you want to bet? What you want to bet? 50?
Yeah, it's gonna be another 50, but I think there's too many riots. What's the number of riots I get to pick?
Well, you've already made the bet, so let's do this real quick. Let's just get this out of the way.
Well, no,
We don't even need-
we're negotiating the bet. Nothing is
We know
said
we're
until
not.
the bet's finished.
What's
We're
being
negotiating
negotiated?
There were more people arrested. There were more people arrested with BLM riots than there were on January 6th, and it ain't even close.
Yeah, but you guys have 2,000 riots, so it might be.
You're the one that made the bet. You're the one that
Right.
said it. I didn't.
You did say
And you
it.
guys had riots all year
Do you
long.
want to take the bet or not?
We need some limitations on the note. Like,
What
we have
what
to
kind
have,
of limitations? You're sounding like a used car salesman. What are you trying to say?
I got to figure out how, like, the arrangement of when all the BLM riots happened, and you could pick a
It's
time
irrelevant.
period, like 1 month, 1 week,
Nope.
one
nope.
day.
That wasn't what you said. Do you want to back out of this now?
Yeah, you
How
brought
about
it
this?
back.
Pick a day. No, I got you. Pick a day with the
It's
most
not a day.
BLM riots. Pick a day.
That ain't how this
With the
works.
most
That,
BLM
hold on. Wait a minute.
day
Hold on.
that they had
You the
2,000
first.
BLM
You don't want from.
protests.
The argument is always the BLM protesters never got arrested. Why should it? Now, well, the ones in January didn't get arrested. You're really limiting it and doing some shit that no MAGA has ever done before. You're going where no MAGA has ever been
No, but
before.
this is fun. This is fun.
That ain't nobody. That's
Pick a
crazy.
day, pick any
No.
day, and let's see how many
Move
people got
on.
arrested
Move on the topic.
in one day. Because the J6 thing was one day, right?
I'm about
pick
to.
a day
Okay,
with
I'm
the
about to
most
end this.
J6
Now
protests.
you're entering the realm of crazy. I'm going to go ahead and end it now because now you. Well, let's talk about only 1
You
month
guys
now.
had days where the whole country protested, right?
You
had
made it
days where the whole
clear.
country protested.
At first, to make your point, you were trying to say nobody punished the the BLM folks like the J6. And now you're all the way down to let's just pick a month and pick one town. You've really narrowed that down.
The entire country. One day, the entire country.
Okay.
Let's see how many people got arrested at BLM versus J6.
I'll give you guys 2 minutes and I got to move it. Y'all go ahead and hash it out. That's
You
crazy.
can pick a day where they had 100 or 1,000.
I'm out of it. I'm out of it. But you
BLM
just said it's so crazy, I'm out of it.
Yeah,
Pick your biggest day. Pick your biggest day. What's your biggest BLM day?
That wasn't the bet.
Right.
That wasn't the bet.
We never finished
You're
the
wrong.
bet. We're still thinking of like the fucking factors.
Listen, the bet is off because you were going to lose so poorly. Let me tell you. Let me give you a number.
The bet's not on until we agree on all the fucking.
Ain't nobody
factors,
fucking
and you get to
agreeing on
negotiate
pick.
it too.
Out of all
Like,
of the
no,
BLM,
no,
you
no,
guys
negotiate.
always
Maybe
say.
that's why you struggle with
Yeah,
Trump so much.
you guys always say BLM did not get punished like the January 6th. You guys never say, well, you know the BLM protest in March of 2006. No, it's always BLM didn't get treated like January 6th. You're trying to limit it down to this period in time that has what, one city, 1 month. Nobody's ever talked about
I didn't say one city. I said the entire country, one day. So pick your biggest day where the entire country was protesting.
I don't know what that number would be,
Yeah,
but I can tell you what the overall number is.
What's the overall number?
Over 15,000.
10
And I'm being
times.
generous.
10
And
times.
that's across like what? A year, 2 years?
Hold on, and I'm being generous. I'm being generous because from May to June of 2020, there was at least 8,000 to 9,000 in that month, or in those 2 months.
So how about a weekend? Your biggest weekend?
Again, I'm not doing that. I've already
Because if
listened.
there's no if you know
you're
the answer, then it's not
not
fucking
good
bad. You
at
just fucking
this.
said
Yeah, I got to move it on, but I'll just say this.
No,
Hold on, I got to move it on, but there's a big
You
difference
don't know how to
between.
gamble. You
There's
just
a big
wanna
difference
fucking grab
between
people.
there's a big difference between committing a robbery in a liquor store versus in an airport. All of the cameras and shit that surround the Capitol building, of course you're gonna have more people arrested. They did it in one of the most videotape places in existence. BLM is in towns and shit. A lot of them areas like Ferguson, Missouri, there's not a camera everywhere like that. You go in the Capitol building, there's 4K images of you everywhere you went. You should expect more of them on a single given day to get arrested.
That's because these people didn't show up thinking they're gonna break.
I
the
gotta
fucking
go.
law.
I'll end it there.
They didn't even know they were
I'll
also
end
in
it. All right, Mike. You.
Hey, so listen.
How you gonna go into probably one of the most video recorded places there is and suggest, well, more of us got arrested than roaming around fucking Ferguson, Missouri, where there's maybe a camera every 100 or 200 feet. I mean, of course they gonna get more of you. You guys are on color footage.
Tim, that's because the delusion runs deep. The delusion runs deep. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna drop down, let you get to your next yes. All MAGA Reacts does is continue to prove what I've been saying all along. They are factose intolerant. The facts don't fucking matter.
Factose intolerant.
In fact, they don't care. They don't understand what's truly going on, or they do, and they just don't want to admit it. I'm gonna leave you with this. When he says, "I don't know how to bet," he still hasn't learned. If I say you want to bet, you should probably just default to fucking no.
Yeah, I think he saw the writing on the wall with that one, which is why he tried to start limiting it down. Well, give me a day. Out of all of the protests, well, I ain't the first MAGA I've ever heard say, well, they didn't arrest as many BLM as they did January 6th on this specific day. That's a big, big moving of the pieces to make a point.
Absolutely. And the funny part about it, if I did dig deep enough across the entire country from May 26th to August of that year of 2020, we probably did.
Wow.
Why would I go down? Because the whole point isn't the same. People went in the J6, white America, stormed the Capitol on false pretense. And everyone knew it. And this country wants to make excuses for degenerative white behavior while they simultaneously tell us that we've destroyed the country.
I did hear somebody say that. Mike, thanks for coming through. No other rebuttal for that. Thank you. And by the way, I'm going to say what I say all the time. If you commit a felony or you commit a crime, pointing to other people that got away with a crime is not an excuse. It's not going to work. I don't, bringing up BLM. I mean, well, they didn't arrest the protesters in Seattle. Seattle is a whole different jurisdiction. You're not going to walk into a D.C. courtroom on federal charges and bring up something that Seattle didn't do, or Chicago didn't do, or Detroit didn't do. It's irrelevant there. That's a whole thing to do with them. Okay, BLM got away with protesting in their city. Then go take that up with that city. That ain't got nothing to do with what you're being charged with. I mean, it's irrelevant, 100% irrelevant. Looking in the comments, and by the way, what is the argument? They got away with it, so should I. Two wrongs make a right. BLM happened during COVID, didn't count, says they had on masks. True, that is true as well, but like I said, to me, you go and commit a ruckus at one of the most videotaped places in existence, the amount of you that are caught is going to be significantly higher. It just is. You're on video. Everybody's on video. Not to mention the fact that the House, all of the Senate, Congress, Vice President is in this building. We're trying to make it sound like tearing up the Capitol building and scaring the shit out of all of the senators in Congress and the Vice President should be viewed on the same scale as going and setting a CVS on fire or breaking into a Best Buy. It's not. It's just not. You could probably go and seriously harm an average American, maybe even take their lives, versus just popping Trump in the leg. And you probably would get more time in jail for popping Trump in the leg. I mean, the fact is, it's who you're victimizing too. Victimizing random shop owners in Ferguson, Missouri is not going to be put in the same category as the Vice President, Senate, and Congress. It's just not. Maybe it should. We can have that argument. Why are they getting treated special? But you know they are. You know if you go and walk up to a congressman or a woman or a senator and punch him in the face, take a, what do they call it, just still on them, just throw a haymaker. It's not going to be the same if you've done it to some regular person walking out of a gas station. The punishment is going to be stronger. So I don't know why people are trying to make it sound like BLM rioting and looting in average cities, average businesses should be treated like somebody raiding the Capitol building where all of the House and Senate are located. It's not going to be, you're not going to get treated the same for that. You're just not. And anybody that's trying to make it sound like BLM should be treated the same way as the January 6th protesters, you're just on some bullshit. I mean, it is what it is. They're senators, the vice president, and Congress is in there. They're going to treat you differently for fucking with them than they are if you going and robbing a CVS or a Best Buy after it's closed at night. The punishment is going to be different. In the comments, yes, MAGA reacts with what it says MAGA reacts with tried that in Las Vegas of stacking the deck in his favor. They would have locked him up for cheating. Yeah, he was really trying to stack the deck all the way down to let's pick a day. Let's pick a day and compare it. Yeah, okay. Then when he did that, the conversation was over with. Looking at the comments, 2 worst states, California and New York, says Chris. I gotta ask you, worse at what? Because just like when one of the viewers talked about stacking the deck to make a point, California and New York are not worse when it comes to how many Americans are insured healthcare in their states. California and New York are not the worst in regards to life expectancy rates. California and New York are not the worst in regards to infant mortality. I mean, there's a lot of areas where California and New York are better than a host of Republican states. But let's only focus on what the Democrats are bad at, and we'll make the point from there, which is what you're doing. Because California and New York, in terms of poverty, they're ranked higher than a lot of Republican states. The poorest states in the union, they lean right. So you guys stick with crime and avoid poverty because poverty doesn't make you look good. So I would have to know when you say they're the worst in what area? In the comments, and somebody says Cali and New York are the best states, actually. Like I said, depends on what you look at. Tourism, you think people are going to Alabama and Mississippi at the same rate they're going and visiting people in California and New York? How many amusement parks and tourist attractions are in Mississippi and Alabama that are drawing international visitors? Virtually none. Virtually none compared to California and New York. They may, American citizens may go tour something down in Mississippi or tour something down in Alabama, but folks coming from other countries going to Alabama, Mississippi, highly unlikely. They're going to California and New York and places like that. Places like Chicago, those liberal cities you keep talking about. In the comments, sure keep thinking that I can just pick up an entire business and company, all the workers, and move them. True, that they do that all the time. In fact, I just heard of a Tyson food plant in Illinois. Just saw that today. They went to work and were told, as opposed to going to your assigned post, let's meet in the cafeteria, and just laid off the whole plant, hundreds of them. That just happened at a Tyson food plant. In the comments, I wouldn't change any of those places. All right, 3 Tyson plants closed. Is that right, Rooster? Wow. Gilded Age, huh? Trump says it's doing great. More workers are working than he. Well, maybe you need to get those Tyson workers somewhere else to go because, yeah, a lot of them just got laid off. Let me go back to the box. Jazzy's, let's say Jazzy Keeps. Good evening. They hate California and New York because those 2 states don't stick their nose in people's bedrooms. They don't try to proselytize and are immigrant friendly. That is why. Well, they're a sea of liberalism. So, in addition to what you're saying, which is true as well. Don't know if it's bringing up Jazzy. We'll give it a minute. Texas, does that math make sense to you, or look, when it comes to the right, Texas and Florida are what you predominantly hear because those states have strong economies. Now, the healthcare, the citizens in Florida and Texas, healthcare wise, they're not good. You don't hear the right talking about that at all, but their economies are good. But there are plenty of things about Texas and Florida that are not at the top either. But they don't mention all of the states in between Texas and Florida because most of them are not doing well, with maybe the exception of Georgia, which is quickly turning purple. By the way, did you know that Georgia, the polls suggest that Georgia may be getting a black female governor? That would be news. Keisha Lance Bottoms, former mayor of Atlanta, she's leading in the polls. In fact, for my viewers that often talk about how racist the country is, you could end up with a disproportionately high amount of black governors in this country after the midterms in November. You got 4 African-American governors that are leading in the polls right now. Keisha Lance Bottoms in Georgia, Westmore in Maryland, I believe he's in, Crowley in Wisconsin, and Byron Donalds, who's a Republican down in Florida. All of them are leading in the polls right now. Byron Donalds has a Trump endorsement, so that goes a long way in Florida. Is Ron DeSantis, is he endorsing Byron Donalds? I don't know, but he's gotten Trump endorsement. So you got 4, that's a disproportionately high if all of them win, and there's a couple more. I think Nevada has an African American running for governor. He's not leading in the polls. I think there's a couple more too. But if you end up getting that many black governors, can you still say it's a racist country? I mean, that's disproportionately high. 13% of the population, but 4 of the governors, which would make it what is that? 2 is 20, 40. What was it? Would that be, what percentage? I can't get my percentages right. That would be certainly more than 13% of the population. What is 4? Why can't I get that? Is that 20%? Somebody let me know. Anyway, looking in the comments, South Carolina has one as well. So South Carolina has an African American running for governor there as well. So I mean, they're not doing bad. I think some of them are going to win. Keisha Lance Bottoms, ooh, Georgia electing a black female governor. That still seems, ooh, I don't know. But Westmore is going to win again. I do believe Crowley, now that Wisconsin got rid of that lady that was talking about, getting rid of Thanksgiving and all that socialist shit, and Wisconsin went with a moderate, I think Wisconsin is going to end up with Crowley. That's 2, Westmore and Crowley. And who else did I say? I don't know about Keisha Lance Bottoms. Who was the other one? Oh, and Byron Donalds. It's a good chance Byron Donalds. That's 3. That's 3. Hopefully she's better than, I don't know what you're saying there, MAGA reacts. I don't know what that word is. MAGAs I love criminals, which is why they love Trump. That's why they have no problem with a January 6th terrorist. Yeesh. Yikes. Going back to the box. I got a lot of folks in here that if you didn't put a request in, drop it, because I've tried to bring people up. Apparently there's a lot of folks, it looks like you got a request in, but when I try to bring folks up, they're saying they did not request. We'll try it again. Let me see. Mike, hopefully she's better than that Georgia DA who slept with her employee. Are you talking about, I know who you're talking about. The one that was going after Trump? Dincal, thank you very much. Did you put in a request? Because I don't know why I'm not able to bring up guests. We'll try that and see if that works. My show is falling apart. My point was only right-wingers would oppose a January 6th event happening by Democrats. The DSA would use it as a slogan or war call to vote more of them in. I think they use it as a war call on the right, Daniel. I mean, you got Trump making national anthems and shit, calling them patriots. It was a war cry on the right. Dincal, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, so I assume you heard MAGA reacts. I saw you.
Man, that is look. Somebody from MAGA needs to request up when he's up there to rebut, because he even makes MAGA look bad.
I think most MAGA agree with him, didn't Cal?
No, I don't know. I don't believe that.
Really?
I don't. The stuff that he pushes back on is just ridiculous.
I'm not seeing. I got a YouTube full of comments. I got YouTube full of MAGA. My YouTube page has a lot of MAGA. I don't be seeing them saying he's wrong. They be defending him.
Well, I'll be looking at the YouTube comments too, and a lot of them just don't comment because they just know that he's fighting a losing battle. I didn't see nobody on there talking about MAGA reacts is right and Mike is wrong, because he was killing them at every turn. And to sit there and say, well, it's okay what happened on January 6th because there was a lot more shit happening with BLM. I don't believe MAGA believes that dumb shit.
Some of them do. He ain't the only person in fact, I don't think you can have a conversation with the average MAGA about January 6th and their punishment without BLM coming up. He's absolutely not the only one that does that.
Yeah, I hear you. But when you start laying out when you start talking to them about actual numbers and what happened, then that all falls away. You can't say, a lot of the MAGA be like, oh, it was Antifa who was on January 6th and all of this shit. But then Well, you say, Trump pardoned every fucking body. Are you saying he pardoned Antifa? Oh, and all that. They changed the subject because the conversation is over at that point.
You know something? Everything surrounding the 2020 election, up to and including what happened on January 6th. Yeah, a few questions and none of it makes sense. Certainly, you're right. If you're going to say Antifa was present on January 6th and all of that, then why did Trump pardon Antifa? I mean, none of it makes sense. The same thing with the election. Why would Mike Pence say the election wasn't stolen when he would have been the second most beneficiary person in the country from it?
Well, he's a rhino. What?
Yeah, stupid. He just became a rhino the day of the election? Yeah. In the comments, though, MAGA Reacts is responding. He says if there was no BLM, there would be no January 6th.
Look, see that argument is like the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
To say that because of what one group of people did because they were protesting police brutality or, or racism, then that's the reason why MAGA exists. Because if you're saying that means that MAGA exists because they on the opposite side.
It don't make sense.
Being racism.
It don't make sense. There's no way to make it make sense. BLM. What BLM was protesting, what they've done, even up to and including the violent riots they had and stuff, it is a totally separate event than what happened on January 6th. They are not connected. In most cases, they happen in many different cities over many different events for many different causes. They are not connected whatsoever. I don't know why when we talk about BLM, people don't refer to January 6th. It's only when you talk about January 6th that they refer back to BLM.
I know, but you can literally show them a video of people busting police officers over the head with fire extinguishers, and they they deserve to get pardoned too.
Well, MAGA,
we should give them money.
MAGA wants to. You got to guess. MAGA wants to react to what you're saying. MAGA, what is he getting wrong?
Well, you guys say it makes no sense. Why does it make no sense? If you see someone protest 2,000 times all across the country, across 2 years, someone gets to protest. The subject, the reason for the protest doesn't matter. We saw you guys protest for 2 years long, getting away with most of the stuff you do. Let me finish. Getting away with most of it. You kept doing it. You kept taking over. You kept doing all kinds of crazy shit for 2 fucking years. And then something happened to us that we care about. Our election got stolen. Our vote was fucking stolen. So we figured if you guys got to protest so much, why not we get to protest one fucking time?
Okay.
It's kind of crazy. You get to do it for 2 years, set cities on fire. We do it once, and everybody gets arrested.
Okay, let him respond. Go ahead, then, Kel.
BLM and Antifa were responding to an event that we saw live and in color of a man getting murdered on the street.
We were responding to an event that we saw in living color.
No, you didn't. You didn't see the election being stolen. You didn't see the election.
We saw the election being stolen. Let me not say the E word anymore before I get banned.
We got 60 court cases. We got the leader of the DOJ. We got everybody saying that shit did not happen. There's a difference.
That's a whole different argument. That does, whether it happened or not, I could have a whole fucking hour with you on that. We're not gonna debate that right now. The only point I'm making is you got to protest what you care about. We got to protest what we cared about. That's it.
No, it's not just about what you cared about. We were reacting.
So it's okay for you and not okay for us?
MAGA, you and I have talked about this 100 times. To me, the stumbling block is having no excuse for why Trump's whole administration said he lost. I mean, if the man
the
won,
excuse doesn't, listen. The
yeah,
reason
it does.
we protest, say we're protesting about just the Gulf of Mexico. It doesn't matter the reason for the protest.
Yeah, it does.
It's our turn to protest. Why are we not allowed to protest one time when you've been protesting for 2 years straight?
Then Cal says it. Then Cal explain it. Then Cal, go ahead.
Listen, what you protest over does matter. You can't keep saying it doesn't matter what you protested about. If we did the same thing you did, it's okay. That's not how the world works, dude.
No, it's called freedom of speech. If you get to protest and do all this shit, why don't I get to protest?
Freedom of speech is not running up in the fucking Capitol.
Oh, like you guys didn't fucking run into CVS and run into fucking police stations and run into federal courthouses.
You gotta understand.
It's like if you guys don't fucking throw the first rock if you're living in a glass house, motherfucker.
MAGA react. But you gotta understand.
Don't throw the first punch when you have a glass jaw.
When you have protests, there are different groups of people that are in the protest. During the daytime, all of the people that were there to protest to say police brutality was bad and everything, all of that shit, those people left when it got to nighttime.
You don't think an election being stolen is bad?
Take over at the nighttime, which is when the Boogaloo Boys and all of the Pride Boys took over, and they insinuated shit. So if you're in a poor neighborhood,
you don't think a stolen election is a bad thing?
Well,
say what?
he says he's asking, do you think a stolen election is a bad thing?
If we can prove it was stolen, I would say yes.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you if you believe it was stolen or not. If it was 100% proven that it was stolen and J6 happened, would it be justified?
No.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm torn on
fuck
that.
about the country. Like
I'm torn on that.
Right.
If hold on, Decal, wait a minute. Hold on, Decal. I'll let you go next, Decal. But let me just say this: if Trump tries to steal the midterms, it could happen again. I don't totally disagree that if you can show the election is being stolen and somebody is trying to be president or a leader when they didn't earn it, going against the will of the people, I can totally understand a violent protest at that point. My only pushback is Trump didn't prove that. In fact, there was far more evidence to the contrary. The only way we walk away believing what Trump said about the 2020 election is we got to dismiss his whole administration, all of the Republican governors, all the Republican senators, all the Republican Congress, all of the judges. We got to dismiss a lot of Republicans and take Trump's word because all of them are saying what he's saying is not true. That's the only issue I have. Go, wait, hold on, Maggot. Didn't count. Go.
I mean, you pretty much laid it out to him, but it's like it's a false narrative to say, oh, because y'all was protesting something, we get to protest something, even though there's no proof of what you said. Like we know what we were protesting.
What's in your background, Maggot?
We saw the knee on George Floyd's neck. There was no dispute about what we saw.
MAGA, hold on. MAGA, people are saying, what is your background? People are saying you're snorting coke over there.
No, what are you talking about?
We can hear you.
No, that's my AC.
Oh, that's what that is? People say you're snorting coke. You over there doing that Richard Pryor?
Alexa, set upstairs to 83.
Okay.
Nah, I wish.
Hey, look.
That should turn off the wind.
One thing I want to ask him.
Wait, it's my turn. Yeah, with George Floyd, I agreed with you until we realized there was fentanyl in his system. He probably saw the cops coming, swallowed all his fucking drugs, and overdosed.
Nobody knew that at
And also, we saw him fucking complain about not breathing the entire time, even before the cop even touched him.
Well, first of all,
I saw him stop saying anything because he couldn't fucking breathe, and it kept his knee on his neck.
I mean, I think it's just as likely for him to die without his fucking knee on his neck.
So you think when you... So you believe...
We know what happened.
So MAGA, you believe the minute Derek Chauvin got a hold on George Floyd, he was dying when Derek Chauvin grabbed him. He was already in the process of dying.
I think he swallowed his drugs with something people do all the time. His fentanyl-laced drugs, and he overdosed on that fentanyl. That's my basic belief, and it happens every day, Tim. So you can't tell me I'm being crazy here because people overdose on fentanyl and swallow their drugs when they see cops coming all the time. That's not like a crazy thing.
What he is saying,
And I say people, like all people, including white people.
And I see something I got a problem with. We got a beef, and he the op. And I pull out on him and I blast him, and then we find out that he had heart disease. I could just be like,
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but at least then he got a gunshot wound, and I can say the gunshot wound killed him.
Oh my god.
But
I got
you know,
4 minutes, guys. I got 4 minutes.
look, a lot of people get tackled to the ground. A lot of people get fucking, you know.
Okay. He got a question for you.
Arrested by the cops.
MAGA, he got a question for you. Go
And
ahead,
they all
Denkel.
die.
He got a question for you, MAGA. Go ahead, Denkel.
all right. When Kyle Rittenhouse, after he had did what he did, and those people were unalive, you know he ran towards the police with the weapon in his hand, waving his hand, saying, "Hey, I need help."
What
They
is that
ignored him.
noise?
They ignored him, and they kept on concentrating on the people that were, having the dispute or the riot in back of him. Do you believe that was racist? That they just allowed this man to run up to him with a firearm?
Well, he had his hands up.
And they just
From what I remember from that video, he had his hands up in the air, and he was nowhere near his gun. And I bet you that was probably like the third or fourth time they saw him that day, so it wasn't the first time. So they knew he wasn't a fucking threat.
Okay. So
And he was communicating with them, and
with an AR-15 waving his hands, they would have just went right by him and went towards the.
if what?
He said if a black guy had walked up toward the cops with an AR-15 slumped across him, waving his hands like that, they would have just let the black guy walk by too.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Why not?
I don't believe
Especially if there's a bunch of people with AR-15s that day and everybody's armed. That becomes normal. It doesn't become suspicious.
But there
because there's a bunch of
wasn't. The
with
only
AR-15s.
people with AR-15s were the white guys. There were not a bunch of people with AR-15s. Just them white dudes with khakis and shit on.
There was a bunch of people on both sides with guns, Tim.
Not with ARs like
One of the
that.
people that got shot.
You know, during the middle of a motherfucking riot, somebody is green looking as Kyle Rittenhouse out there with an AR. You know, I mean, you know what you're looking at. You know what team that motherfucker on. I mean, this dude is not here rioting, and he's walking around with an AR slumped on his shoulder. I don't believe I could have done that and got the same treatment as them.
Look, what's his name? George Floyd could have had an AR-15, and he would have still died from that fentanyl overdose. Like, what is your point here? I mean, fentanyl doesn't discriminate.
I don't believe
In
it.
fact, like,
I haven't seen enough evidence to suggest that Floyd died of fentanyl or poison or fentanyl overdose. I haven't seen that.
It's in the autopsy.
It don't matter if he has fentanyl in his system or not. He wouldn't have died that day if motherfucking Derek Chauvin didn't put his knee on his damn neck.
Yeah.
He also wouldn't have died if he didn't have fentanyl in his system.
Yeah,
That is not a death sentence.
What?
Having fentanyl in your system is not a death sentence by the police.
Yeah, tell that to all those people who died from fentanyl, including people that I know personally. Shut the fuck up. That's the stupidest thing you've ever said, Dan Cal.
What did he say that was stupid?
That having fentanyl in fucking your system doesn't kill you.
You know, I'll tell you this: even if someone had a lethal amount of narcotics in their system, if the minute they encounter the police does something that could be lethal in what they're doing, the police are going to get in trouble. I mean, even if he was on his way out from fentanyl, you can't sit on a man for 9 minutes. I mean, it doesn't matter what he was dying of. You doing that, you don't put yourself in a picture for homicide. And because that's not the way you address anybody that's in the process of overdosing.
Let's pretend that George Floyd just behaved himself. He sees the cops coming, he swallows all his drugs, behaves himself, gets handcuffs behind his back, sits in the car, and then while in the car, while they're filling out the paperwork, or they're talking to each other, he fucking overdoses from drugs. Is it still the other guy's fault? Fucking whatever the guy's name is?
No, it wouldn't be his fault because he didn't sit on his neck for 9 minutes, but that's not what happened.
Then why are you telling me fentanyl in his system isn't an important fucking detail?
Because I'm saying even
fentanyl overdoses people every fucking day, and people swallow their drugs so they don't get fucking caught with it every fucking day.
Right.
What makes George Floyd special that he gets to swallow a ton of drugs?
What makes George Floyd special is the way the cops dealt with him. Even if you, as I said, even if you got a lethal amount of cocktail in your system and the police sit on you for 9 minutes, that cop is going to get in trouble. That is not the proper way to treat anything a person is doing. You can't just sit on a person's neck for 9 minutes no matter what they're going through. So the cop is going to get in trouble no matter what.
Yeah, because that makes Derek Chauvin unlucky, not fucking George Floyd, the fucking saint.
He killed somebody.
It makes...
What do you mean
Unlucky.
If he didn't fucking take fentanyl, he wouldn't have killed anybody. He's done that. I mean, he tackled and arrested people his entire fucking career, and the one guy that's high in fentanyl dies. And then you're blaming the cop? I mean, it is partially the cop's fault. I'm not fucking defending this moron.
Yeah, you are.
But he's also... But no, I'm not. I'm just trying to be, like, fair here. Like, you're trying to act like fucking fentanyl's marijuana or something. It's like you're trying to be pro-fentanyl. Now, fentanyl is the new marijuana. You can smoke it. It's not addictive. It's not going to kill you. Is that the what you're trying to say?
Well, then, Kev, you said they went to court. What did you say?
They went to court. A jury and a judge agreed that he killed that man with his actions.
Yeah, it makes him very unlucky.
We have to keep debating shit that we know.
He said it makes him unlucky. All right.
I mean, you're trying to... I'm not trying to debate shit. I actually agree with you. You're the one that's trying to debate that fentanyl wasn't fucking a deadly... That isn't a deadly drug. Fentanyl is a very deadly drug. And you guys need to stop pretending like it's not.
We said that fentanyl was not the reason why the man passed away.
How do you know that?
Because the courts ruled on it. The courts ruled that he died from Derek Chauvin. They didn't rule that he died from fentanyl.
The coroner, the people that looked at his body...
The fucking court is just 12 people fucking guessing. Or
why have a court, MAGA reacts, if you're never going to...
because it's better than
no matter what they say on no matter what they say on Trump, they're getting it wrong. No matter what, anytime you like the person, no matter what the court say, the court is getting it wrong. They're only getting it right when it's somebody you would think. If they had said the same shit about BLM, well, they deserve to go to jail. But if it's Trump or if it's the J6 folks, I mean, we're to the point where you don't even trust the courts anymore.
I never trusted the courts. I look at the evidence and weigh them myself and how it fucking, if it was me in that situation.
Go ahead,
every time I've talked to you, I've brought up evidence. I've never come up here without fucking talking about evidence. You just ignore it. Ignore everything I say.
MAGA reacts. No matter what the conversation we have going back and forth, me, you, Mike, you, Tim, you, everybody.
It's like 4 against 1, and you guys wonder why I do this.
If you get into a situation where you need a support system, you need people to be behind you. It's only going to be us, dude.
All right, DK, I gotta move it on.
I don't know about all that. I mean, I'm sure you guys are cool. I mean, I consider you friends. Even though we argue every day, I do consider most of you guys friends.
No, I'm
not a racist man, love, because I think she lies too much. But
you believe in, they would not support your ass.
He's saying you're party.
I don't do this because I expect them to support me or do anything for me. I don't fucking help other people expecting them to fucking pay me back or owe me or any of that bullshit. I'm just trying to be fair.
All right, DK, go ahead and drop. MAGA, I gotta move it on. I gotta move it on for time, y'all. Thank you. All right, and thank you. In the comments, I gotta move it on for time. Looking in the comments, MAGA, the shit you be. He said the shit you pay. And Evil says that MAGA wasn't doing coke; he was rolling up a J. Okay, fair enough. In the comments, my point was only right wingers with a paw. I saw that already. Look, I don't. Some of the opinions that MAGA React take, what do they say? You watch some of these infomercials or some of this stuff, and the network says some of the opinions you see on this show is not reflective of this network. Some of the shit that MAGA React says is not reflective of the host or this show. I'm about to start giving a disclaimer for you, MAGA, because the stuff you're saying, wow. Wow, that's all I can say. Certainly when it comes to, okay, you're suggesting that George Floyd died of fentanyl. What's the purpose of having the courts if you're not going to accept anything? Well, I checked the evidence. You got more access to the evidence than the actual jurors and the judge. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's the same thing with the 2020 election. All of the players involved said the man lost the election. Well, it didn't go right. We seen something different. None of them seen it. You think Mike Pence would have just made up some shit? You don't think he had access to evidence? You guys have gotten to the point where you don't even trust American citizens in the court system itself. This is why people are saying you guys are fascists or you're trying to change the justice system or something. You don't even trust the system we have in place if it rules against you. How many times has Trump said a judge is a liberal or an activist judge? You can't even rule on cases unless you rule Trump's way without Trump saying it somehow, some way that you're cheating the system or they don't even accept rulings anymore. If a judge don't rule the way I think, something's wrong with the fucking judge. What good is our system like that? Undermining every aspect of it. Every aspect of our system is now being undermined. If you don't think like we do, something is wrong with you. How is that not being a fascist? And you hear Trump saying that all the time. Every judge that rules against him is a liberal judge or an activist judge. Look, some judges lean left, some lean right. You don't criticize any of the ones that rule in your favor, do you? I mean, some of this shit is getting crazy. MAGA, what the fuck? What is going on? Look, when folks give galaxies, we do bring them up. That's kind of how the show works. So apparently, I'm getting something wrong. MAGA reacts. What am I getting wrong now?
Bro, you're up here talking about how the court fucking sends a lot of innocent people to jail every fucking day, and in the same breath, you're telling me, oh, why don't you trust the court? Why don't you trust the court? The court gets it wrong all the time. How many innocent black people has this court sent to jail?
That's a good point, and I'll push back by saying this. And you're right, the courts do send a lot of innocent people to jail, but it's rarely folks with unlimited resources. That's the difference. When the court, you don't, like O.J. Simpson had resources. He didn't go to prison. Usually when they're convicting people who are innocent, it's people that don't have any resources. Somebody like Trump is not, you don't see too many people at that level going to jail for stuff they didn't do.
We're talking about Derek Chauvin, but for me, it doesn't matter the resources. It matters the evidence and the politics, and I look at everything. And, yeah, this court gets it wrong all the time. So don't tell me you trust the fucking courts because you talk every day about how you don't trust the court. And on top of that, you think the system is racist. You think the system is systematically set up against you. Then you turn around and tell me, why don't you trust the system? Why don't you trust the fucking feds? Why don't you trust all this shit?
Okay.
You are up here telling me how you don't trust it.
And I'm not
tell you I don't trust it either.
I'm not disputing any of that, but the difference between what you're talking about and what happened with Derek Chauvin is it's caught on video. If it was he said, she said, we might have a point to be made. But Derek Chauvin sitting on that man's neck for 9 minutes would suggest you either killed the guy or you didn't care if he died because you were sitting on this guy well beyond him being conscious. You continue sitting on this guy even though he wasn't even responding. So either you tried to kill him or you didn't care if he died.
And then how many times have videos end up being misleading? We watch a video from one angle, then we find out from another angle.
I ain't never seen a video. I have never seen a video like that turned out to be misleading. That video was pretty clear.
There's a lot of misleading videos.
Give me an example. Give me an example of a video like that.
In that video, he had fentanyl in his system. He didn't have a drug level.
I go back to what I said.
Drugs was his system. I
go back to what I say. Either Derek Chauvin killed him, or you're right, he had fentanyl in the system, and Derek Chauvin didn't care if he died. Either way, what Derek Chauvin did was you don't sit on somebody for 9 minutes as a reason for unless the person is continuing to struggle and fight back for all 9 minutes. You don't just sit on an unconscious dude.
And then another good example is the Nicole, what's her name video of the lady that ran over the ice guy. Based on what angle you saw.
Nobody ran over anybody.
She didn't run over him.
I'm not trying to stop. Michael. Stop. Let me finish.
Didn't run over him.
Let me finish. Let me fucking finish, and then you can fucking tell your lies all day long.
You've been up here lying.
Hey, you keep stealing my fucking time. You can lie in your time. You can lie in your time.
I wasn't even up here.
Let me finish what I'm trying to say. I don't care. Okay, she didn't run him over. She didn't run him over.
She didn't even try to run him over.
Let me finish.
She didn't even hit him. But
I'm not even here arguing that. All I'm saying is, depending on which of it, let me fucking finish, you motherfucker.
Whoa, hold on, because you would never say
Let me fucking finish, because you fucking, I was fucking say that.
I got it. Hold on, Mike. For 1 second, I know you're Egyptian, Mike. The white boy came out of you in that.
I would do it behind the fucking.
He almost said it too.
That white boy came out of him, boy.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You can't even cuss good. You done assimilated so bad, you can't even cuss right. You son of an ass. You mother.
No, it's because I don't want to fucking force it out of me. Shut your little bitch motherfucking ass up.
Yeah. Look at you. You still can't even do it right.
Oh, Lord.
You son of a. You son of a. Man,
all right, Mike, let him get his point out. He gonna go off for you, but go ahead,
Let me
Naya.
finish. I'll give you all the time in the world. The fucking Nicole video, whether you believe she fucking hit him or didn't hit him, based on like which angle you saw and which video you saw, some videos were very misleading, and some videos you're like, she definitely hit them. Other videos you're like, oh, she didn't hit him. So that's another example of how videos could be misleading depending on what video you saw and
I didn't see
politics.
I didn't see it. To me, I saw an officer looking for a reason to kill. I don't think if a car is coming towards you, shooting the driver is even in your best interest, because it ain't gonna stop the vehicle. A dead driver is gonna continue going straight. A dead person ain't gonna put on the brakes. I don't think it ever makes sense to shoot a car that's coming directly at you, unless they're deliberately steering towards you.
Did you see that shit with that film actor?
I'll let you finish.
Okay,
let you finish. I'll let you
I can give you examples for days where videos are misleading.
I'm up here to address your blatant lies. Number one, the autopsy said he had fentanyl, but it was not the cause. That's why they ruled it a homicide. Period. Full stop. Number two, Derek Chauvin had a lengthy record of misconduct. Derek Chauvin had over 18 incidents in his record in the 19-year career he had, including 2 shootings and assaulting a black teenager. So don't sit up here and tell us that Derek Chauvin was the right person in this scenario. It's what happened was he had survived off of his white privilege for so long, he was never held accountable for the other 18 things.
Well, he didn't, Mike, he didn't say Derek Chauvin is innocent. He's just trying to say he wasn't responsible for Floyd's death.
No. He was trying to make it seem like just the only time Derek Chauvin had in his career was that one time he ran into George Floyd. That's what he said.
I never said that. I never said that at all.
You absolutely
no,
implied
I said that day he was fucking unlucky.
Put a 1 in the chat if MAGA Reacts did not imply
this biased ass fucking audience is not gonna fucking be fucking balanced.
Had that one incident, and that was the makeup of him. It was not. I'm not gonna let you let him walk off. You
want to make it bad that I didn't say anything about one incident?
The bottom line
I just said he was unlucky that day that this asshole had fentanyl in his system.
But you also implied that was the only time Derek Chauvin had done something like that.
No, I didn't.
That's what you did.
Let's bet on it. Let's bet $50
and I'm not letting
on
you
it.
get away with that bullshit.
No.
And
How did I say it? How did I say it? Because I'm not going to leave you with a lot of this. $50. How did I say it? Let's go back and watch the video.
And another thing, I came up here specifically for this. You do
Why don't you take this bet? You like short bets.
You do this all the time. Just galloping doesn't make you right. Everything you said about the George Floyd case was wrong. You made it seem like he would ingest narcotics. That's not what happened. Stop besmirching that man. If you want to say something else that he did, fine. But for you to make it seem again, his autopsy.
Yeah, MAGA, you did indicate like some people run from the police and they got drugs on them, so they just swallow it so they don't get caught. You made it sound like he did that.
That's my guess of what happened. I clearly said that's my guess of what happened that day.
But you keep pointing to the autopsy. The
autopsy showed that he had fentanyl in his system. So
it was not.
He had fentanyl. He swallowed some fentanyl that day.
Listen. MAGA Reacts. If you unalive right now, it would say you had bitch in your system. That doesn't mean that's what killed you. The fuck
Oh
out
my
of here with that
God.
bullshit. You don't have to. No, Tim, this is disgusting. Because if you want to have the conversation,
I'm gonna behave.
conversation. His autopsy report didn't say that.
It said he had fentanyl in his system, right?
The courts didn't say that's what killed him.
Did it say? I don't care. You can't tell if it killed him or not. Did he have fentanyl in his system?
I don't care.
Is fentanyl a deadly drug? That's my only 2 points.
Yes, it
he had
is.
fentanyl in his system.
Yes,
fentanyl is a deadly drug.
But is it always
whether it killed
deadly?
him or not?
Is it always deadly?
No, it's not.
Most of the time,
No, it's not even most of the
It's
time.
it's not.
Not even most of the time. It's not.
Not
It
even
kills
most of the
more
time.
people than any other fucking
A
drug I
lot
know
of
of.
a lot of people die from heroin, but plenty of people have heroin in their system and they go on.
Yeah, because it's usually spiked with fentanyl.
And listen, the bottom line
Fentanyl is
this.
way more dangerous than heroin.
You can say whatever you want, but what you can't say is what you said is the truth. And that's the problem. And here's
The only thing I said is the truth.
Again,
Fentanyl is
MAGA,
very deadly, and he had
MAGA,
fentanyl in his system.
MAGA,
Those are my only 2 points.
MAGA. No, that's
if you
not
heard
what you
anything
said.
else,
No, that's
if you heard
not what you
anything
said.
else, that's just your fucking stupid
No,
brain.
no, that's not what you said. You also said
Bet it.
he probably swallowed it and he overdosed. That's what you said.
Yeah, what's the word probably mean? That's
He
like
did-
my
again,
guess is that's what he
but
did.
But the facts.
I didn't say that's for sure beyond
But
a reasonable doubt.
But the
I
facts
said
say.
that's what I think he did.
But the
Probably.
facts say.
That means
but the
that's my
facts say.
guess.
Are you just gonna just keep talking because the facts say otherwise, and you keep pointing to the facts, which are the autopsy report, and the autopsy report clearly says it was a homicide by asphyxiation. That's what the That's what it says. I can walk to my computer.
But
and
it
pull
also
it up.
says.
So stop for a second.
It also says he has
Stop, MAGA
fentanyl
reacts.
in his system.
MAGA reacts.
What does fentanyl
Hold
do?
on, let me just say this. Hold on, gentlemen. Hold on, Mike. Hold on, Mike.
I know you're stupid, but how does fentanyl work?
Here's the problem, Magarex. I asked you earlier about not believing the courts and things, and you said because I did my research. The fact that you're talking about he may have swallowed drugs while the police just to hide him and stuff, you haven't done, because none of that happened. So you're bringing up, so for somebody to say you don't trust the courts because you've done your research, but yet you're making up these fictional scenarios that nobody ever said happened, shows you haven't done much research. You should go with what the courts are saying.
In his system? How did he get that fentanyl in his system, Tim?
Could have been something he did earlier.
How do you know? That's not facts from the fucking court case.
No. Again, Tim, don't even.
Now you're guessing.
No.
That's why I'm going with what the courts say. That's why I'm going with what the courts say, as opposed to guessing.
Okay, but I'm not allowed to guess.
The bottom line is this:
you're allowed to guess. I'm allowed to guess. This is a fucking free country.
Why guess when you can just go get the
right?
Autopsy report?
It makes no sense to guess at this point.
And see, this
maybe the autopsy guy that works for the prosecutor is a little biased.
Can you stop yelling? And you know what's so funny? I'm glad you said that, Maggie Reacts. And this is why sometimes just shutting the fuck up is the best option. How many autopsies did he have?
2, I think.
And what did they come back and say?
That he had fentanyl.
The same thing. But they also said that he died by what Derek Chauvin did to him. And see, this is why.
Buddy, what does fentanyl do?
Stop, Maggie Reacts.
I'm trying to teach you something. What does fentanyl do?
You're not teaching
What does
shit.
a coroner do?
Teach me. I don't know. What does fentanyl do?
Don't let him do this, Tim. Can you just stop for a second? You just keep yelling. It doesn't make you right. We're not arguing whether he had ethanol in the system, because there's other medications that have ethanol in them. It's not just a singular smug. So stop it. But even if he did, both autopsy reports, said that's not what caused his unaliving, which is why Derek Chauvin got convicted.
That's 6
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Can you let me
wasting my
finish?
time. No, I'm not gonna get it.
You haven't read shit. And you're gonna stop doing that when I'm around, because you take it too far, Maggie Reacts. And here's what I mean.
Can I ask you my questions?
Hold on, you can in just a second. When I say you take it too far, you're avoiding facts to use your own opinions, and then you want to argue your opinions like they're facts. And we can show you fact after fact after fact, and you just don't want to relate.
All you're doing is telling you I'm right. All you're saying is I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right. I understand that you think you're right. Can I make my point now?
I'm using facts.
You just said that you're right 20 times in a row.
I didn't say
and then you're gonna be like,
I said
won.
facts.
You kept basically saying you're wrong, I'm right. That's basically what you said for the last 10 minutes.
This is why you can't hear. I never said I was right. I said facts.
You said I was wrong.
I said
Let me finish.
Facts.
Can you answer my questions now?
No. What you're not gonna do is reframe my words, MAGA Reacts.
I'm not reframing shit.
Hold on. I didn't say I was right or you were wrong. I said facts and opinions.
Let me ask you the questions before you say I'm reframing.
You only got 1 minute, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
I got it, Tim. I got it, but this is important. I said facts and opinion. You said I said right and wrong. Those are, you need to re-examine the way
Can I give you?
shit.
Can I tell you my
really
points?
do.
Let him speak, Mike. Mike, let him speak, and then let him speak.
Call yourself the winner.
Let him speak, Mike, and then I'll give you the last word. Go ahead, MAGA.
So look, no, I have to. He needs to answer these questions.
You don't have that much time.
It's just one question. How does fentanyl work? How does fentanyl kill a person?
I'm not entertaining your questions, bro.
You know the fucking answer. It basically causes whatever that word is.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
It's very relevant. If the fucking drug he's on causes you to shut down and not breathe.
He did not overdose.
All right, Mike, I gotta move it on.
And that drug causes his cause of death.
He did not.
Derek Chauvin.
All right, Mike, time. I gotta move it on. All right, real quick, MAGA, last word. Last word.
No, he didn't say that, him being choked out, there was damage to his neck, and that's why he fucking choked to death. When the drug he's on causes the same cause of death, you fucking, when you're on fentanyl and you're overdosing, you basically can't breathe because your body shut down. Your fucking lungs aren't working.
So let me just make sure I get clarity. So you do believe both autopsies that blamed it on Derek, so you believe both of them lied then?
No, they're correct, but the cause of death could have been the fentanyl or Derek Chauvin, because the drug causes the same thing as like being choked. That drug, when you
Derek Chauvin,
opioid.
So if you're admitting,
what's that cause of death? I can't say that word right now because
if you're admitting that Derek Chauvin could have done it, then you do believe he's right where he belongs, right?
Yeah, because he could have done it, but I'm also trying to say that the fentanyl is a very likely cause of death too. And it was probably both things together, but if one was missing, the other wouldn't have happened. If there was no fentanyl, I believe Derek Chauvin would have never killed him. And if there's no Derek Chauvin, the fentanyl could have killed him. But I don't know. I think both is a possible source of the fucking death.
I can't agree with it because I don't know to what level. I mean, there's obviously different levels of fentanyl. I'm not aware of what level of that it was in his system. And we see how George Floyd was acting before he encountered Derek Chauvin. He did not look like he was about to die or pass out. All of that happened under. He didn't look sober. All of that, no, but he didn't look anywhere near close to dying. All of that happened under Derek Chauvin's knee. He went from being a live, vibrant person to dead, all under Derek Chauvin's knee.
That's my last point. Like, when you swallow something, there's a delayed reaction. You swallow it, and it takes a while for your body to absorb it.
Yeah, but none of the autopsies indicated any of that. He had just swallowed fentanyl. None of them said that. So that's something you're kind of throwing in there as a possibility. If the autopsies didn't bring that stuff up. I gotta go.
I don't know if his stomach content was checked like that. I don't know if you could even check for stomach content like that. We just know fentanyl was in his system, and fentanyl causes you. It fucking kills you.
I gotta go. There's no evidence to suggest he had enough in his system. I'm assuming that any level of fentanyl is not there. There's so many things to add in there, but the fact is, look, you've had 2 autopsies, and neither autopsy ruled that fentanyl took his life. So would he get a third? We're just going to keep going with autopsies until somebody says what we want to hear. They're all blaming it on the cop. So it is what it is. And you got the other cops that are saying, we didn't train him to do this. We didn't train him to sit on somebody for 9 minutes. Look, I don't care if you're frothing at the mouth in the process of overdosing. Sitting on somebody for 9 minutes is not the response to treating anybody. That's just not what you do when you encounter somebody. Even if a person did have a lethal cocktail in their body, and you go and do that, it's possible you could get charged with killing them. You just can't do that to somebody. So he's where he belongs. Maybe he'll get lucky and get a third autopsy. I highly doubt it. Hello, my name is Manuel, and I come from Germany and no longer have a mother or father. Sorry to hear that in Deutschland. MAGA, just remember when you OD, It didn't happen unless someone choked you to blame the drugs and let the killers free. To me, I think it's a waste of an argument trying to defend Derek Chauvin. And the only reason we're trying to defend Chauvin is because of how we feel about George Floyd or how we feel about Derek Chauvin. If Derek Chauvin and George Floyd were both white or both black, you wouldn't have anybody talking about fentanyl is what killed them. It's as simple as that. I don't know why, but for some reason, anything that outrages the African American community, MAGA is on the other side of that issue. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or they're just trying to be spoil sports or whatever. I don't care. You pick any issue at all that outrages the African American community, and MAGA is going to be on the other side of that issue. No understanding of why that is. Like all the time. Like literally all the time. I don't care what you guys are pissed off about. MAGA is going to be on the other side of that. Probably saying you shouldn't be pissed off or you should deserve what happened or something of that nature. But they're always going to be on the other side of it. Looking in the comments, Trump and Sons now own a bank with no federal regulation. I haven't heard that. Hey, MAGA, common sense isn't common. Keep snorting that coke. I don't think MAGA reacts to snorting coke. Crazy. Opioids OD people by suppressing their ability to breathe, aka asphyxiation. We the rabble. I don't have a medical background, and that's what MAGA reactions also saying is that fentanyl can lead to your death by asphyxiation. Whatever the case may be, there's none of that explains away sitting on somebody for 9 minutes. If he sat on George Floyd was resisting arrest. There's no denying that George Floyd was resisting arrest. If he had to sit on George Floyd to effect an arrest, and George Floyd lost his life, I'm on the side of Derek Chauvin. He was resisting. You got to handcuff the guy. But once you're sitting on a guy that is no longer moving or making a sound, you got to get up off the guy. You can't just keep sitting on him. Resisting arrest is not, that doesn't mean, if a person is resisting arrest or fighting back with the police, that doesn't mean you get the freedom to do whatever you want to do to them. You still have to do only the bare amount to make the arrest. 9 minutes on a guy that's not moving, or crying out for his mom or saying I can't breathe. Dude's already handcuffed. At that point, it's excessive. And I don't care what's in his system. You're going to be part of that. I mean, maybe what you're doing to him could lead to a panic attack or an anxiety attack that actually speeds up the metabolism of the drugs you're talking about. You just can't do that to somebody that has been subdued already. Once you're sitting on him, once you got him, you sitting on the dude, the other guys are to grab his legs and arms and handcuff him. Then pick him up and put him in the back of the police car. If he's struggling, hog tie him, put a spit mask on. But you don't just sit on a guy for 9 minutes with no movement. There's no excuse for that. And there's no way to defend that. So to me, based on that alone, Derek Chauvin is exactly where he belongs. You can't just sit on somebody. They weren't even trying to arrest him. In fact, Derek Chauvin has got his knee on his neck and one of his hands is like in his pocket. He ain't even trying to arrest the dude. He is literally trying to show the audience, fuck y'all. Ain't nothing you can do. I got him. Ain't nothing you can do about it. He was actually doing an ego thing to the folks that were standing around watching. He wasn't even trying to arrest him. And there were 3 other cops present. They're not trying to arrest him either. They're just sitting on the dude. You can't, there's no way you do that and walk. I can understand why there was riots. I don't believe in violent riots, but you got a guy on video doing that on TV, and you guys haven't arrested him in like 4 days. Even the governor was begging the mayor, the mayor, I think it was Mayor Fry, or whoever the mayor of Minneapolis was at the time. They were begging the cops to arrest this guy. Like, this dude is guilty. You can't just let this guy be on TV kill. People watching this man kill this dude over and over again. Like, you got to do something about this. And there you go. That led to anger, boiled over, and before you know it, shit getting set on fire. But he should have been arrested. There's no way you're going to take the life of a cop like that and get 4 days while they're deliberating whether they should arrest you or not. He should have been arrested the minute they saw that. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, get the likes on up, if you will. We'll go user 214. In the comments, I don't know what I missed here. Derek's house should have been burned down, period. Damn. You want to burn? I don't know. Like, he got family. You don't want to hurt somebody that's innocent because you're pissed off with Derek Chauvin. I don't think you burn his house down. You could end up setting the neighbors' houses ablaze and cause a lot of innocent people to pay the price because you're angry at Derek Chauvin. But he should have been. Derek Chauvin is where he should be. Going back to the box, tap the screen. If it was a white guy, no bunch of white guys were going to jump up and protest about it. Would have still been the same thing. He probably deserved it. He acted out. He did something. You think he deserved to die? You think based on what you've seen from George Floyd, he deserved to lose his life? You think the murder was justified or him dying was justified? That's probably why a lot of you guys are defending Chauvin, is you guys wanted him to pass away. Who's using OPA? Opioids, is that what you're saying, Weeder Rap? I don't know what OPA is. Real quick, I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. Opioids, OD, people by suppressing their ability. Yeah, I saw that. Asphyxiation. Look, I'm not arguing that. Like I said, you don't walk up to the scene and sit on somebody. Once you do that, you kind of remove any doubt that you're 100% innocent. You can't just sit on a guy with your hands in your pocket for 9 minutes. And what do you think? You do that, then you go right back to the police force and continue your job? I think Derek Chauvin, I can't say it any more than I'm saying it now. I think he's right where he belongs. He deserves to go to jail for that. He was in the back of the police car and they pulled him back out and put him on the ground. He was resisting arrest in the police car, though. He was resisting arrest. That's when you take him out and you hog tie him. You don't take him out and sit on the guy for 9 minutes. They should have, because he was handcuffed in the back of the police car. So if he's kicking or slamming his head against a window like some people do, you take him out of the car and they got restraints to hog tie you so that you can't keep kicking at the window or knock your head against the window. They got spit masks. They have stuff for that. None of that involves sitting on somebody for 9 minutes. A handcuffed man, none of that involves that. Trucker, don't know what happened, but he came and went. We'll go to the next caller. None of that involves sitting on the guy for 9 minutes. You're not explaining any of that away by doing that. Derek Chauvin is where he belongs. Dark, good evening.
Hey man, let me start here. Look, first of all, why you just let that damn misinformation artist sit up here for the last 2 hours spewing that bullshit?
All the shit I corrected. All the shit I corrected. All the shit Mike corrected. Like, damn, I can't. I mean, he's throwing a lot of shit out there, but he can't correct it all.
You can't correct it because it's bullshit. You know. Man.
Did I not point out a lot of that?
Hold on. Tim, when did BLM last 2 years?
Say that again.
Was that not for 3 months of the summer, 89 days of 2020?
What is your question?
I'm asking again, when did the BLM protests become 2 years?
BLM has had protests often. Well, most of that shit happened and stopped at the George Floyd.
Right, which was how long again? 89 days. That particular BLM protest was 89 days. It was not 2 years. Other protests that had nothing to do with George Floyd spawned off of those. Let's stop normalizing the bullshit. He just sat up here for 2 hours straight lying about everything. If the drug was the cause of Floyd's death, why did they not exonerate Derek Chauvin?
He believes the jurors or the judges may have been working with some liberal outfit or something crazy like that.
Again, like I said, that misinformation artist is gonna get your shit snatched. Cause I understand you deal and you talk to QAnon, but that shit's bad. That shit's like really bad mojo you know, I don't know that, you know, you did too say that shit, you lying slack as shit. I sat here and listen, you crying and whining, high voice as a motherfucker when Mike got up there and started slashing your bullshit to the ground. You ain't no round for a pussy. I don't need to talk to you. For what? How many people? 162 people right now seeing that for the last 2 hours, you've been crying and lying about everything. And I do mean every single, you did not have one valid single correct point. Not one.
Well, you know what happens.
The information from the shit you was saying, you lying slack as shit.
I'm up here. You calling me liar? I always let you go because you want to stop
a liar, which is what you are.
You said my name.
You're a liar. That's what I'm saying. You're a misinformation artist.
I didn't say George Floyd riots.
Fox News, Fox Entertainment,
I
liar.
said BLM riots, not George Floyd riots, motherfucker. And those happened across 2 years,
I'm glad
including the guy in Minnesota with the knife.
I'm so glad you showed your little racist side. I'm so glad.
What racist side? Saying fentanyl kills people is racist?
You have to pretend like you're not racist.
Saying fentanyl kills people is racist.
What did he say that was racist, though? Dark, what did he say that was racist?
Oh, you didn't hear him about to say the hard ER?
I didn't hear him say it.
You act like you didn't hear that
I didn't hear him say the hard. I didn't hear him say anything.
Mike, you're still in the comments, right? Did you hear that shit? So let's stop playing.
I was nowhere near saying any N-word. I was holding myself back from cursing, and then I said fucking and said motherfucker.
So wait, you're calling him racist?
Get that cock out of your mouth.
You're calling him racist because you think he was about to say so. He didn't say it though. A true racist is going to say it, right?
He's about to do this. He's about to do this. Shut the fuck up.
Tim,
you're about to suck a cock. That's what's happening.
That's what's gonna go on. We're gonna let this little fake ass white boy do what he doing.
I said BLM riot. Hey, you came up here all because I said 2 years. Even if it was a year and a half or a year. I said BLM riots, not George. I said BLM riots. That means George Floyd. That means all the other guys that were involved in BLM.
How long you said the BLM riots lasted? Excuse me, the BLM
I didn't say... No, your whole argument is George Floyd protest was only a couple of months. I'm talking about the entire BLM thing. Which was actually probably closer to 6 years.
About the shit. Okay. See, because
you said
you also lied.
You basically...
Okay. Because I'm not gonna sit here and yell at you, with you, little kid. Little boy.
I'll come down.
I'll come down. Man, shut the fuck up while I'm talking. First of all, you were lying about the percentage of violent to non-violent fucking protests. Because first of all, 93 to 90% of the Black Lives Matter demonstration events were entirely peaceful, with 7% being the number of 220.
Yeah, that's what I said. What did I say different?
No, you didn't, dog. That's not what you said.
I took the numbers from Mike. Let me tell you what I did because you weren't listening.
God.
I know you're bad at math, so I have to explain it to you. I took the two numbers, the numbers Mike gave me.
You don't have real information.
Do you want to learn how to do math or not? Do you want to know how percentages work and how math works? I'll teach you. Mike said there was 2,000 and 93% of them were good. So I took 93% of 2,000 and that's how I got my number.
Okay, but did you look up the information? Because again,
I just went off what Mike said. I was debating Mike and I took his fact.
Not information somebody else gave me. See, here's the difference. I actually do research. Mike, everybody else that comes on this panel does research except for you. You're the only one who will take someone else's research, someone else's ideas, and apply it to your life like it's real. And they have the nerve to say that you research.
So Mike gave me wrong numbers? Mike was wrong?
Shit.
Okay.
You sit here
if you're saying Mike was wrong, okay, I agree with you. Mike is probably wrong.
Jesus.
I just took his number because I was debating him.
That's the problem. This is the problem.
All the numbers came from him.
You don't research. You don't listen. You don't make any sense.
You don't listen to what I'm saying. So how could you even understand if I have facts
Mr. Winkle 73. I don't know why the other channel's not letting you. Thank you, Mr. Winkle. I don't know why you're not able to super chat because the other one's taken.
Now, let's go back to your 2-year number.
Thank you for your support.
I'm saying the BLM riots, the whole BLM riots, not just George Floyd.
The grown-ups are talking. Like I was saying to him, 93 to 96% of the protests, or excuse me, demonstrations were nonviolent. 7%, which actually came out to roughly 220 protests, actually ended up in violence. Oh, and wait, there's something else about that, because you do realize that specifically when they are reporting that it was violent protests, they were literally just talking about the violence of setting up barricades.
Yeah, I was going to say, when he was talking about violent protests, I asked him earlier, I don't think he heard me when I asked him, I was asking MAGA, what is your definition of violent? Because violent protest could just mean somebody threw something through a car window. That means it's violent. I mean, I would have to know what that actually
Violence
means.
for me is looting and car fires. Hey, this is my time too, motherfucker.
You adults are talking, sir.
Then find an adult. You're a fucking little bitch. You're a 5-year-old little
It's time to go
bitch
take a nap,
that happens
MAGA.
to be in a 50-year-old
Go take
body.
a nap, MAGA. We're not talking to little kids right now.
Hey,
Go
only
take a
one is
nap.
taking a nap is you after
Go take
smoking
a
all
nap,
that
sir.
fentanyl.
Thank you, sir. Go take a nap.
You think fentanyl's safe?
take
Go
a
fucking
nap.
smoke that shit.
Go take a
And
nap.
don't blame a cop when you OD on it.
You were the one wishing that you were sitting over there when they made the comment about your quote unquote fan or air conditioning. You said, "I wish." Right. So who was doing fentanyl?
Not me. You're the one that's saying it's safe. That doesn't kill
that
people.
nervous laugh you just had right there is funny now, right? Like I said, children.
This is the fucking logic you have. This is the dumbass shit you come up with, laugh. This is you're a dumbass laugh.
Little guy. The grown-ups are talking.
4 minutes.
Like I was saying before, I was so unpeacefully interrupted by your child. Okay. Again, these numbers that he spouts are wrong. Only a 5-year-old would be able to take
So what's the real number? Give me a number.
Take someone else's research that they did and turn it into their own, and then not be able to prove the point that they were trying to prove. You don't do any research. You don't actually look at it.
My point is, whatever number it is, it's more than one. So if it's 212, like you said, that's a lot more than one, buddy.
220 is the number I said, right? And
220 is a lot more than one.
Again, the violence that
Do you
they're
know
talking about
how to
is
compare things?
setting up barriers. Excuse me.
Like there was no barriers on J6?
Down a fence, right?
Okay, so
that's
how many
really not violent, is it, man?
times did they set cars on fire? How many times did they
Is
loot?
it violent to put up a barricade?
Okay, how many? You're the research
Is it
guy. How
very
many
violent?
times did they loot? How many times did they set cars on
Is
fire?
that
How many times did they set Waymos on
Is that
fire?
very violent? Is it violent to set up barricades?
I don't know. I'm going off your numbers. You're saying they're violent. I'm not saying they're violent.
Like I was saying again, the grown-ups are
But
talking.
no matter what the fucking answer is,
Again,
there was only one riot on the right and 200 on the left? Even if it's 10 or 14.
If you want to, but what I want you to understand is
that 12 or 200 is bigger than one? That's an argument for you? That's fact, motherfucker.
MAGA, when you break into the Capitol during the transfer, the peaceful transfer of power, that is no longer a burglary, a break-in, a protest. That is a coup. They are traitors. They should have been
the number is still one.
To way worse. MAGA, again.
All right, last minute.
That's the only point I made.
1 minute.
One is smaller than 14 or 220.
Ooh, Lord.
One is less. One is smaller. One is nothing.
God, I know the little calculator you got. It don't got a lot of numbers, so you can't add up a lot of stuff. And I'm not talking small enough for you to get it. But if you break into the Capitol on the day of the peaceful transfer of power, and you know that is happening, that is an act of sedition. You are a traitor, literally. It is in the code. You are literally a traitor. No BLM riot, no BLM demonstration, not a burning, not a police station burning, not property damage. None of that shit has anything to do with running into the government building, the capital of the country, of the capital of this country, of America. The Capitol building, where you know the peaceful transfer of power is going on.
All right.
Don't fucking kid yourself.
All right, Doug, I gotta drop you.
So
last word to you,
it's
MAGA.
still only one thing versus fucking 200. Whatever your number is, it's more than fucking one. And 0 people, and the other number is 0. 0 people got charged with fucking sedition because it wasn't the reason people were there. You know, it's fucking.
Why were they there?
Why
were they there? Why were they there?
To protest a let me not say stolen, a very suspicious election where a bunch of people voted that came out of nowhere and didn't vote the next year and didn't vote the previous year. I mean, fuck, man, you want to get me flagged again, don't you?
I'll leave it at that. I'll go ahead and move it on. I'll move it on. Hey, look, in my opinion, the whole notion that the election, I'm going to say what I keep saying, is that the MAGA Saturday Owl has a mindset of, I believe what I believe and nobody can tell me otherwise. Just like I mentioned the two autopsies in the George Floyd case, the sheer amount of highly respected Republicans that say Trump lost is astronomical. I don't know anybody that say he won. How many well-known, highly respected Republicans say Trump won the 2020 election? At that time, like, I don't know anybody that was really saying he won. It was, I mean, so, you know, it is what it is. So, I mean, it's one of those deals. I'm going to believe what I believe no matter what. But the overwhelming majority of Republicans during that time not only said Trump lost, but they were also against what he did on January 6th. Lindsey Graham during that time was not saying Trump won either. Now, some of them came around after Johnson and then went to the Mar-a-Lago and made amends with Trump. But in the first few weeks, none of them were saying Trump won. They only started coming around when they realized Trump was still in power. So it's one of those deals where you just, look, if you still believe Trump won the 2020 election, I don't think there's anything that's going to change your mind other than somebody saying they agree with you. Because the amount of folks that have inside access to elections and counting votes and Republicans, I'm not talking about all Democrats, it's astronomical. All the courts, all of these folks are corrupt. His vice president, they all are corrupt. That makes no sense to me. In the comments, spicy in here tonight. Yes, Stevie D, it's a little bit hot for the typical live. Certainly be up this time of night. I can't believe how many. There's some wild shit in there. Anyway, let me go back to the box. Tap the screen and get us on up to 90,000, if you will. Let your thumbs not be lazy. It's kind of crazy he came back and won 2024 against all odds. Why did he win in 2024 if he lost in 2020? Because Biden sucked in the eyes of a lot of people. Just like I would tell you this. How are we to believe that the only fraudulent elections are held under Trump? When Obama was president, he had no problem winning in 2016. When Biden was president, he had no problem winning in 2024. The only fraudulent elections seem to be when he's in power. He's in power in 2020. And all of a sudden, they stole the election. He's in power right now in 2026. And once again, he's complaining about election fraud. We're making it sound like it only happens when he's president, which makes you question, well, what is he doing as president? Why are people able to cheat when you're in there? That's got to be something wrong with him. Joey, going back to the box, yes, ask Fonny about how those cases this fool tried to bring got tossed out. Well, they got tossed out because Trump won, not because Trump was innocent. Same thing with Jack Smith. It ain't that Jack Smith lost or Trump was exonerated or won. He became president, so the cases went away. Everyone should post the live for Tim. Repost it. Can you do that? I would appreciate this. Share the live if you will. Because those idiots are always a minority, and that's why they can only win with the Electoral College or by cheating, like Bush Jr. did and Trump. Ooh. Well, I'm talking about the United States. I'm sorry, I have always, what does that say? I always treat you and tell you what I'm talking about. America, which is the United States, we would never be the same. Okay, let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, help your boy out. We'll go to, I think it says Mr. something. Everyone should, okay, I saw it. JMO, I know I'm embarrassed. Embarrassed how? Mr., good evening.
What's up?
Not much at all. What brings you on this evening?
Okay, I don't know. Shit, man, I was going down the stairs and I came on. But that's all right. I want to be on.
What's on your mind?
What are we talking about today?
It's an open forum.
Okay.
So where was we at?
Well, we ran over the George Floyd stuff, and certainly these folks are still suggesting the 2020 election is stolen and all of that. I mean, but for the most part, we have an open forum. Have you been listening in?
I've been listening.
Okay.
I've been on for hours.
You got any opinion on what you've heard so far?
MAGA reacts. It's just they pay him, don't they?
I don't care. No, nobody's paying him.
He's being paid. He is. See, nobody can be that wild. Nobody. Nobody.
He has an opinion on what he believes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my girl Gangster. That's my girl there. Gangster.
It's kind of late for Gangster Grandma. She's not around tonight.
Okay.
So, well, let me move it on since we don't have any major issues going. But I do appreciate you coming up, man. And
right.
Continue listening in. Thank you.
All right.
All right, good talk. All right, moving on real quick. We are acting like California didn't just do fraud in their election. We're acting like we saw proof of California doing fraud in their election. All I heard is Trump making allegations. I haven't seen California proven beyond a reasonable doubt that fraud was committed. All I'm hearing is Trump making allegations. Show me the fraud and you got me on your side. But it has to be based on something. I don't like when MAGA reacts, he did admit, unlike MAGA, that he believes the election was suspicious, not stolen. If you want to suggest that when I went to sleep, Trump was way up, and when I woke up, he was losing, that looks suspicious, we can have a conversation about suspicious. But suspicious doesn't automatically equate to stolen. When MAGA showed up at January 6th, they were saying stop to steal. They were indicating that Biden was stealing the election. They didn't have any proof of that. And they still don't have any proof of that. But January 6th was only like 2 months after the election had taken place. Attorney General Barr was still investigating Trump's claims. There's no way they should have acted like that on January 6th, only 2 months after the election. If you had grabbed any of the January 6th protesters with the stop the steal signs and said, show me how Biden stole the election, they wouldn't have had nothing to give you other than what MAGA React said. Something looks suspicious. Okay, but how does that mean he stole it? So what the January 6th protesters were doing was just taking the word of President Trump and throwing their whole lives away based on it. Ashley Babbitt got killed for something she had no proof of. She just took Trump's word, did what she did, and ended up dying in the process. There's no way in hell that anybody had any proof anything was stolen 2 weeks after the election. Trump told them the only evidence they had was Trump telling them that. And like I said, we're now 6 years out, they still don't have any proof. But they absolutely didn't have it 2 months after the election. They had nothing at that point. Don't blame me, I voted for Kodos. What all you know, you fucked up right. Everybody knows they just fucked up right. Okay? MAGA is against abortion because it cuts into their dating pool. Ooh, that's nasty. Do you think this is stupid? You think I'm lying to you? Who the one making billions? He just made 200 billion. He made 2.2 billion, not 200 billion. But he did make a lot of money. So we'll leave it at that. Tap the screen and get the likes on up. In the comments, psychiatry should be making a lot of millionaires off of these crazy ass MAGA. Give it time. Ashley Babbitt got that booster shot. Retired fireman, that's cruel. That is cruel. Let me go back to the box. Answer the question, Melissa. If fraud was so prevalent, why did 60 plus cases, many before Trump appointed judges, get tossed out? They don't have an answer for that. They don't have an answer for why President Trump was screaming something that the overwhelming majority of the Republican Party was disagreeing over. Anybody who doesn't agree with Trump has to have had some kind of agenda. The judges, Mike Pence, Attorney General Barr, Scaramucci, Omarosa, all of them were saying he lost. They just dismissed them all as having some kind of agenda. Trump has to be right, even though all of the Republican governors saying he lost. Republicans that voted for him. All of them, they all wrong. It's just Trump is right. And Trump doesn't have to prove anything. They're just going with Trump as he said that. Go figure. Sugar Cane. Good evening. Welcome to the program. That's dumb about Ashley Babbitt. What Ashley Babbitt did was dumb, in my opinion. To just go there on that day and do all of that shit, based on what Trump is saying, no proof. He ain't showed you anything to suggest the election was stolen. He just went around saying it a bunch of times. And now you're here busting through windows and shit based on that. Proceed at your own risk. And that's kind of what happened there. She ended up getting killed. What the fuck is wrong with him talking about girls and you're not talking about women? You're talking about, okay, you guys are talking to each other apparently. Let me go back to the box. Nate, good evening, Nate. Welcome to the program. Nate, good evening.
What's up?
Rough night, man. I take
so
it.
Of course, he's a moron. You know what I'm saying?
Who?
So, like always.
Who's a moron?
You know who. Stop it. You
I
know,
need a name.
MAGA React is a fucking moron. Like, he's a fucking moron.
Why do you say that?
Because first of all, he's always saying, yeah, you know, I got facts, I got this, but yeah, he's an admitted liar. I'm gonna keep always saying it. He came on here and said, if I didn't say something different, you wouldn't have me up here. I have to say something different. He's an admitted liar. So, like, there's nothing else to say about that. Like, anything he says, he's just lying. Even if he tells the truth, you're an admitted liar. Like, why would I believe you regardless?
Because I don't think MAGA always tells lies. I mean, I disagree with him on a lot of shit, but I don't know if I would say he's always lying.
Well, he also said, like, fentanyl has no other use, like, other than to die. Like, why you take fentanyl? You're going to die.
In the medical community.
Like,
the medical community.
There's no medical reason at all that fentanyl will be in your body, will be in your system. Like, they got patches that have fentanyl in it, and will be in your system.
I didn't know
Doesn't
that.
mean you're doing drugs to get high and to die.
How do you respond to the notion, though, that many believe that George Floyd did ingest fentanyl and that is what killed him?
He had it in his system. Doesn't mean he ingested it. He could have got high earlier. He could have had a patch. There's these skin patches that have fentanyl in it.
Well, you would have knew that if he had a skin patch.
But he could have had it on or whatever. The fact is, that's not what they said caused his death. Doesn't matter what he had. He could have been smoking a blunt. He could have fucking been doing coke. That's not what the autopsy said he died from. That's all that matters. He could have whatever on him. He could have had a gun on him. The gun didn't go off. Doesn't matter. The autopsy says it wasn't caused by that.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. That the autopsy definitely suggested that fentanyl did not kill Floyd. So, I don't think that's even up for debate. But they do keep pushing that. But no, the autopsy did not suggest his death was fentanyl induced.
In New York, I don't know if you saw it, but in New York, I was texting you and saying that this guy was selling Lucy's, and the cops jumped on him. He said he couldn't
choked him out and choked him out.
Choked him out and killed him too, the same way, same exact way. They had it. They were laying on him. He was a heavyset guy. They had the elbow in his neck. He couldn't breathe. He kept telling him he couldn't breathe, and he died.
Yeah.
There was fentanyl in that too, right?
Yeah, that was a big guy,
Maybe that
wasn't it?
fentanyl came from Venezuela. Maybe it was that. Like, you know, maybe the fentanyl, there's no more fentanyl in the United States because Trump took over Venezuela, right? There's no more fentanyl anymore, so you don't hear that shit no more.
Yeah, you know there's fentanyl here. What Trump was doing with those drug boats had nothing to do with preventing fentanyl from coming to this country. He was trying to get access to Venezuela and just killing people to use that as an excuse.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
But if you ask him, he'll say, yeah, you know, that's why Trump had to go over there to stop the fentanyl. And so the cops don't get blamed for killing people no more. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, there's no way in hell you're going to blow up a dozen boats and from Venezuela of all places. Venezuela is not even responsible for fentanyl coming to the country, but you're not going to blow up a dozen boats and stop $1 billion drug trade. It's just you would have to do it would take a lot more work, a lot more manpower, boots on the ground, all kinds of shit. You're not going to just blow up a few boats and all of a sudden no fentanyl is coming to America.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I told you before, they let forgot the guy's name, the big drug dealer who just he went to jail, the father and then the son, the one who dug the tunnel. They let like 17
El Chapo?
They let 17 of his family members in.
Yeah.
With suitcases of fucking money. They didn't care about that. The person who that Trump appointed to see about about people getting off of death row and getting out of jail or whatever. She was like one of the largest drug dealers. She got out and he gave her a job.
How much money you think he getting in the process for that shit? Because that's what's happening. These people are paying Trump off.
Yeah, listen, this was known when rappers were saying, yeah, I got like Lil Wayne and all of them.
You heard what he did? You heard what he did to Lil Boosie?
Yeah.
Fucked him over big time. Fucked him over.
It wasn't enough. You didn't pay me enough.
Yeah, he gave him 600 G's. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, he knows. Everybody knows that was $1 million. Because we heard about it from last time when Giuliani was talking about it.
I mean, Boosie from the hood. Can you imagine having somebody rip you of 600 stacks? I mean, look, you can't do shit with the president or these big wigs, but man, I would sure be wanting some get back. That's a lot of fucking money to take from somebody and give them nothing.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's that known when you got money like that. It was that known that hey, look, you do this, we'll clean your record. You do that.
Then don't take it. Then don't take the money. If you know Trump requires $1 million, don't take my 600 and knowing damn well you ain't gonna give me none of it back, and I'm gonna be out of 600 stacks.
Listen, Trump hit him like a G and told him, "Yo, that's 600. That's for wasting my time."
Shit.
Taking that 600 for wasting my time.
Then give him his fucking money back. Then in fact, whoever took his 600, because Boosie put in a court case. I don't know how that's going to go, but whoever took his 600, they need to answer for that. How is that not ill-gotten gains? If you got 600 G's on you as a drug dealer, not only do they charge you for not filing taxes on it, they can hold you accountable for ill-gotten gains. Like, why would this man just give you 600 stacks? You didn't give him nothing for his money. Give him his money back.
You know this all surrounds a person who had a fake college that he took everybody's money and he just had to pay a percentage of the money he stole to them with a cutout. It's the same guy who that they closed like 300 fucking accounts that the bank says like, yo, this is fraud. Like what you're doing right now, like that's fraud. We have to close all these accounts. Like this is the same guy. You think he cares?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I get that, but I mean, you should be able to find a judge that orders him to get his money back. Like, well, I mean, first of all, paying for a pardon is illegal to begin with. So, I mean, I don't know how far Boosie can go because Boosie was obviously, partaking in something that's illegal to begin with. Paying for a pardon is not legal. So you were trying to buy something that's illegal. So I guess you could get Boosie and also them for trying to solicit and sell it. But you can't just take $600,000 from somebody for no reason, for nothing, and keep it. You should be held accountable for that.
The key word is illegal. So it's like me going to the court to say, "Hey, Tim stole a kilo of my. He took a kilo on me."
That's what
they're gonna look at him like, "Well, what do you want us to do? Like, we're gonna arrest you if that's what you want to bring up." Like. That's what he's fighting right now.
Motherfuckers have done that. Motherfuckers have called the cops and said I was trying to buy some crack and he ripped me.
George was like, yo, like this hooker I was banging stole my coke and I can't find it. I'm looking for it. That's why he had to go clean up the streets.
Yeah. Who did that?
Boy George. He was coked up out of his mind. He had a hooker come over. He went somewhere. He went to the bathroom or something. She took the coke and ran off. He called 911. Said, yo, she stole my coke.
That's
and he got snagged with that.
That is crazy. In the comments, I see Smokey says he got hustled. It's legal how they hustled him. Legal how? Like, what did he get for his 600 stacks? I don't know.
Nothing. Nothing. But look at what Nicki Minaj got. She got a fake fucking citizen card.
What do you mean?
Remember, she was doing all that because she's a illegal immigrant.
Right.
So she was doing the shows and everything, saying that Trump's the best and shaking her ass on him and all that stupid shit. And he gave her a fake one. She thought she was getting the gold one. That's like I think it was like.
Wow, really? So that shit ain't worth nothing?
Nah, it wasn't that one. It was like a temporary whatever.
So she TPS?
Yeah.
So she can get deported back to where she from? One of them islands?
Yeah, and she's doing that other shit for her husband because he be touching. He's a little pedo nigga, and her brother. Her brother too.
She paid more than Boosie, in my opinion, because Boosie lost 600. She lost her whole fan base. She lost way more than 600 stacks fucking with Trump. Nicki Minaj, her and Kanye West, man, the amount of money, especially Kanye lost double-digit millions fucking with Trump, maybe triple-digit. I don't get why these folks don't realize that. Look, if you're Candace Owens, who also don't like Trump anymore, but if you're Candace Owens or the Hodge twins or Officer Tatum, that's cool. You can fuck with Trump because your audience is primarily white. But if you're an African American and your primary customer or audience or fan base is black, you cannot be out there promoting Trump. Only person I've seen do that successfully probably is Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson really ain't doing much. Other than Mike Tyson, Steve Harvey tried to talk to him for a minute. Ice Cube tried to talk to him. Snoop Dogg, all of them started having trouble right away and got the fuck away from him. Lil Wayne, wanted to pardon. The minute they got even an inkling of that heat, they got the fuck away from him. Kanye West and Nicki Minaj went full in, and they've lost a lot. Because Nicki Minaj, she ain't throwing no concerts, making that kind of money anymore because of that. Because she lost her LGBTQ fans as well doing that.
Yeah, but the thing is, they didn't realize. They think like he's not a hustler. Like you can say whatever you want about him. He's a criminal. Like he's a hustler. He's gonna hustle you. He's gonna take whatever he can get, and when he don't need you no more, he's gonna just take it just like that. I'm done with you. Like why are you still here? You gotta go.
See, that's why Boosie tried to take the smart angle. I'm not gonna be out here kissing your ass. I'm just gonna give you I'm gonna give you the cash, and you just do what I need you to do. That way, I ain't gotta be out here endorsing you or whatever. But maybe Boosie should have got on stage and said he was pro-Trump. I can't imagine Boosie with a MAGA hat on. It wouldn't even been believable. But I suppose he should have tried it that way. Maybe he would have got a little bit more successful.
But that's why Trump doesn't use himself. He uses third persons. Like you came in, he told you that he was going to come see me and talk to me about, like, he never told me nothing. I don't even know this guy. The chick he raped, he's like, yo, I don't know her.
Yeah.
She's ugly, but she looks exactly like my wife though. But
he did say that. I got to move it on, Nate. But look, the man is Teflon. Let's just leave it like that. The man is Teflon.
So how you like my man going and spending a day in Rikers watching the soccer game with inmates?
Come on, Mamdani. I think Mamdani, the only downfall of Mamdani I'm seeing right now is he wasn't born in America. I think he would have a huge political future. I think he still has a huge political future ahead of him.
He went to Rikers and watched the soccer game. And
I heard
talked to him like, yo, look, like you all have mistakes or whatever in your life. Like you could lead. Once you get out of here, you could do something. Like he tried to give him something. Had a meal with them. Like when you ever hear anything like that?
You don't. New Yorkers love the guy. So, I hear the right saying all the shit they want to say about Mamdani, but he got a future in New York. Unless he does something that's really crazy, that man has a long future in New York.
He's good over here.
Fair enough. I got to move it on, Nate. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Real quick, looking in the comments. Are you still supporting Trump? Are you talking? Who in the comments are you talking to? Gene or Gene? Brooklyn. You know what that means. I'm paying most rent that you won't even get to pay. Somebody says fuck Trump and all Trump supporters. Fuck y'all, says Travis. Yikes. In the comments here, real quick. Will the real Melissa Overs please stand up? Anyone get that joke? I don't get it. Mambos is done. He can't. Oh, Mamdani is done. He can't run for higher office unless the Democrats change the rule. He can run for Congress and Senate, can he? There's nothing to stop it. He can't run for president, but there's nothing stopping Mamdani from running for governor, from running for Senate, running for Congress. Only thing he cannot be is president. He can be a lot of other things though. So no, he can do a lot. You just have to be a natural born citizen to be president. Look, at the end of the day, if you guys want to change the rules so that Trump can run in 2028, you can't hate if the Democrats want to change the rules for Mamdani. You guys are talking about changing the rules. It could work in reverse. So who knows? I mean, you like Trump doing whatever he wants. Understand that by supporting that, you may get a Democrat in there one day that does whatever he wants as well. So if you want to change the rules so Trump can run a third term against the Constitution, well, you might get a Democrat that want to change the rules so Muslim Mamdani can run for president. I don't think there's a chance of it happening. I'm just speculating here, but I'm just simply saying you're okay with Trump changing rules over and over and over again, and you're defending it. Just keep in mind, there is a time where this could be on the other shoe. A lot of things you guys are defending, up to and including defending Trump when he ridicules people who just died. There's going to come a time when you guys are not going to like people making fun of Trump's death. But based on how you've handled Trump making fun of other people's deaths, you ain't going to be able to say nothing. Because there's so many people he's done that to now. Mueller, Rob Rayner. He said the same thing when he found out Joe Biden has a cancer diagnosis. We already know when Joe Biden passes away, Trump going to say negative shit about him too. If Trump lives after Biden dies, and it looks like Trump may outlive Biden, if he does, he's not going to be very sympathetic to his death either. So this will come around. There will be folks celebrating Trump's death, and you guys ain't going to like it. But it's because you kept overlooking him doing it to people. John McCain is another one that he did it to. So McCain, Mueller, Rayner, and of course the way he's talking about Biden. But these three people have died, and Trump has continued bashing them after they died. Wow, that's cold. You still sucking off the Fauci coat. Holy shit. Who's sucking up? Broke ass motherfuckers lined up for the Epstein vaccine for a free donut. Think their opinion about who was lining up. What is an Epstein vaccine? You just making up shit at this point. He just throwing things out there. And I see in the comments, somebody said he watched a soccer game with inmates. Oh, so cute. Okay. You guys said the same thing when Trump goes into stadiums. And I mean, Trump does something similar. You guys make a big deal out of it. So it is what it is. MAGA will be jumping off bridges when Trump goes, jumping off buildings when Trump goes. I don't know about that, but they're going to be upset. It depends on when he goes. If he passes away in 8 years or something, it's not going to be the same. But if he passes away in the next 2, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Every year I dance on Floyd's grave. Really? So you just go to Minnesota, find where George Floyd was buried, and just dance on it? Okay, I suppose you'll end up in hell for that. I don't know. I mean, you didn't know the guy when he was alive, so I don't know why you would go dance on his grave when he's dead, huh? This whole live, and I still didn't get to talk about JD and Marco Rubio. We'll do that on the next one, because unfortunately, nature calls. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I got to step away. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Nature is calling, so you guys know how that works. Take care. Gotta go.